Don't go in there! You don't have to die! Well, no one has to die at 30! You can live! Live! Live and grow old! I've seen it! She's seen it! Well, look! 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 It's clear!
Last day, Capricorn 29's. Year of the city, 2274. Carousel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nerd with Dre and Jeff and a very special guest today. Very excited. You saw the title. It's Logan Trent. We are going to be wrapping up our incredibly fun season on running speed. We never really officially called it anything, but that's great. We did Sonic Spinball, we did Speedy Gonzales, and now we are doing the classic 1976 science fiction film based off a 1967 science fiction book, Logan's Run. Get it? Logan, get it?
I watched the movie Logan, and I thought we were going to talk about the runtime, because I thought it was a little too long.
Yeah, no, that's what we're doing.
I didn't watch this movie. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of this
died
film.
before 30 in that movie.
Yeah, you can try all you want, Logan. So, of course, we've got the immaculate Logan Trent, who is here because I guess, Jeff, the rule of nerd I didn't realize was if we say Logan's name, he has to appear. There's like Candyman rules.
Yeah. So I have affectionately been referring to this episode as Logan's Pun, as we really tied you into a nightmare here, Logan. Just, hey, do you have an hour and a half to spend talking about something that's not that good?
Oh,
I like
interesting. Oh,
I actually enjoy this film. I've seen it like numerous times. So yeah, no, I'm happy to talk about it.
Okay, great. Because we can talk about it because, man, this movie, talk about a movie that has scenes and information that is clearly left on the cutting room floor. And scenes that are added in that clearly should have been left on the cutting room floor.
So very much like a supercomputer that got jilted. Jeff's brain got broke. Because I'll even say, I'm the co-host, Dre Alvarez. Normally there's an intro to that, but Jeff's brain is broken. We got our amazing co-host, Logan. And as mentioned, we got this movie that I made Jeff watch. Now, I'm gonna half blame it on you, Jeff, kind of. So here's what I'm going to show you. And this might show up on screen or not. I have a Babylon 5... Michael York autograph where he does not give a fuck. Look at that autograph. I'm never going to get that autograph graded because Michael York clearly was like, what the hell is this?
I'll sign your silly little rectangle. Just leave me alone.
Exactly.
I had a chance to get a Babylon 5 autographed card, and I did not give a shit. That is
going to haunt me, and we will bring that up at Producers Logan. But yeah, so... I get this card with Michael York. I remember this movie I saw as a kid. That is a premise behind the Nerd Show. Trilogies around nostalgic things Jeff and I love, deep dives, etc. And I'm like, Jeff, we got to do Logan's Run. And Jeff did some judo on me. He was like, I'm going to force some good topics in there. I'm going to force us to do Speedy Gonzales. Go back and listen to that episode. That would have been a great episode to guest on too, Logan. We could have discussed like representation in film of minorities, something that you've talked a lot about. Great topic. Sonic Spinball, a fantastic thing.
But now you have to talk about representations of people named Logan in film.
Oh, I'm going to talk about representation in this for sure. But also, I like those two episodes. Those are fantastic listens. So
Speedy Gonzales was probably the most work I've done on a podcast in a long time.
Yeah, but it was worth it.
But it was definitely worth it. I was very happy with that episode. I'm not happy with how I had to start this episode. I watched this movie twice, and the amount of rewinds I had to do because... there's not a lot of because in the script. It's a lot of and then this happens, which like it doesn't, this isn't a cohesive story. It's not. And it's definitely interesting as I'm watching this as a man in his 40s versus people that have grown up watching this movie. From a plot perspective, from a story perspective, not particularly great, but a fascinating snapshot at science fiction that is on the precipice of being completely and totally changed and having a divergent road break apart within less than a year. And I'm very excited about that.
There's literally a point in the middle of the movie where you're like, oh, this is where they didn't know what to do going forward.
That's a lot of the movie.
Yeah, it's like the last 50 minutes of this is just, oh, you guys just didn't know what you were doing with this back end stuff. Okay. All right.
Also, at one point in time, the two principal actors absolutely hurt a cat in their fight.
Yes.
They tumble onto a cat that does not have enough time to get away.
That is one of those old timey, like,
Yeah.
I'm sure all those horses in Ben-Hur were okay, right?
Yeah. And they're like, well, they tasted fine.
Yeah.
One last thing. So, Logan, any place you want to plug, anything you're doing, any place people should be looking out for you or your work at the moment?
WNBYay, with our friend Adam Todd Brown over on the You Don't Even Like network, and some other stuff in the pipeline elsewhere. So, yeah.
Logan's been getting into hardcore pornography lately, so look out for that.
Yeah, look out for Logan's Cum. It's another.
Are we going to do that all? Are we going to do this all show? We'll see how Jeff can keep this ball in the air.
Logan's buns, yeah.
Yep, there it is. All right. So, of course, what's your the Logan Trent, I believe, on most socials. So if you've got stuff in the pipeline we don't know about yet, that's where people need to be following you, correct?
Yeah, over on Blue Sky.
It's actually
mostly posted about how genocide sucks.
Yeah, it's Thilo Gant Rent.
Yes. Sorry for the mispronunciation.
Dojian Chiarent is actually the pronunciation.
Okay. All right.
Anyway.
Run.
So let's give us a breakdown of the nerd numbers, Dre.
All right. So these are fun. I'm loving the fact I got to actually do some numbers for this show, Jeff. So this was made in 1976, right in front of, I would say, the two movies that kind of show where stuff went and why this didn't go anywhere. Of course, Superman and Star Wars. This is a science fiction movie made for $7 million in 1976, which is roughly $40 million in today's dollars, and grossed $25 million, which is about 140 in today's dollars. We can thank your boy, Matt Damon, who has explained this countless times on the internet as to like how this is a snapshot in time, because this is the epitome of a mid-tier movie that is going to live on forever because of VHS rentals and like cable.
Sure. I will say I wouldn't call this a particularly mid-budget movie for the time. This was actually MGM's second most expensive movie, and I think it was their most expensive movie in the decade.
This movie literally saved MGM.
It saved MGM.
It's like wild it made enough money to save the studio.
You're funny how you're right in that. Actually, that's like another point when we're talking snapshot in time, because like I'm saying a $40 million budget movie, which again in the 90s and 2000s you'd consider, oh yeah, it's a mid-tier, right? It's not like this Marvel one where it's literally $250 million to $500 million that needs to make $1 billion worldwide. So
can't really compare those.
It's funny because I get what you're saying, because it's actually, that's like how old this is. It's like a mid-tier budget movie by 90s standards that was a big budget movie in the 70s that was kind of lost in the fact that it preceded a bunch of other sci-fi that was going to blow up much bigger than it right after.
And what's very clear about this, and I'm going to get a little bit ahead of myself, but I think this is actually something that's very important from a historical context. The majority of this money is clearly going to sets, right? That's pretty obvious. Now, from that, I was talking about there's going to be a divergent road in science fiction. And Star Wars is the Rubicon, right? Star Wars is the Rubicon that changes science fiction from being weird, operatic, billowy, flowy, ostentatious science fiction to a more
Austin-power-tatious.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's a good Mike York reference there. But and so you're going to see a break, and 1977 is going to be that break. Which way Western filmmaker? Are you going to be doing more of a sort of effects-driven, almost grimier thing, or are you going to do a more of this sort of like aggressive Technicolor, very gaudy, very sparkly, very shiny thing? And so Flash Gordon is where Logan's Run was sending sci-fi before Star Wars cut it off. And I think Flash Gordon is the perfect example of that operatic, European science fiction, your Barbarellas and your things, trippy and almost in a haze of cocaine and colors, big, glorious, beautiful sets. But if you look at Star Wars, what sets are you really looking at here? They filmed in the desert, huts. They would make small bars that looked big. You know, like it's a relatively small thing. I mean, the biggest sets they had was like making the Death Star and then adding some mirrors.
Yeah, most of the sets are miniatures.
Yeah,
in terms of
exactly.
stuff that you think are large.
But what Star Wars
It's also
does,
funny that you bring up Flash Gordon, considering like how much Lucas took from serials and stuff like that. So
exactly.
It's
well, I
very
mean, you know,
yeah,
we know Star Wars was supposed to be Flash Gordon.
yeah,
But Dino De Laurentiis wouldn't let it go. And Dino De Laurentiis saw, well, I mean, if you look at Flash Gordon, they look like it's in the same universe Logan's run.
yeah.
Like
And
different time.
the other movie that Dre spoke of, Superman, like this world is basically if Krypton was in a strip mall. Like it's just discoteca era Krypton.
I would like to add, by the way, that I think the mall designs are purposeful to
Oh,
comment
that's intentional.
on youth culture, right? Like,
It's consumerism because
Yeah.
their whole society is just consuming. So
Well,
that's intentional, but it is funny how, like, even the opening, like, zoom dolly shot is straight up introducing us to, like, how Krypton was.
And actually,
Because
it's
it's
funny. We haven't done this in a few shows, Jeff. And in fact, I've broken your brain trying to do this. But Jeff, is there any shot? I'm looking forward to this. Can you do the 1 minute quick overview of the movie? I'd love to see what you come up with. Or if you just tell me to fuck you, that's fine too.
So we live in a world where at this point in time, people die at 30 years old. Logan, who is a guy that kills people who don't want to die, which is weird anyway, ends up happening, and he gets put on a mission that may or may not be ever resolved in the process. And we don't know the official thing, but he goes on a mission to find people that are hiding out. And eventually he finds his way to the real world, which sort of looks like a post Planet of the Apes scenario that we have going on here. And then all of a sudden things are different. And an old man talks about cats for about 45 minutes. And then the end of the movie happens after he beats his friend with a broomstick to death.
So the only correction I would give you is he actually beats him to death with the United States flag. But other than that,
yeah.
Oh,
A
also
plus.
titties.
Lots of them.
This movie is chock full of tits.
Titties and abs.
Oh,
Yeah.
abs and ass too. A lot of
Yeah.
ass. What?
There's a lot of guys who probably did gladiator movies in certain shots. Of this.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one of the things that I love, and there's a lot of symbolism to be picked up here, but one of the things that I love is that this movie does carry on the spirit of 70s cinema. And when I say 70s cinema, I'm talking like De Palma shit. Because, oh my God, this cop, this cop is now realizing he's a part of a corrupt system and he needs to get out of it. It's Serpico. Like, it's one of these things where there's all these different things that are happening that are very 70s cinema. And like the cop realizing that he's not the good guy scenario, that's like a very normal thing. He's a flawed character, which cinema has kind of gotten away with because fans are too demanding they want a morally pure antagonist because fans are bad. They're bad for content, for media. And so I like the idea that Logan's character stays flawed the entire time. Like, he still is a broken, flawed man trying to justify the things that he's done while placed in a scenario that he has he's not a hero by choice.
If his partner had picked up the Ankh, it would have just been a different thing. It's
And that's-
literally him grabbing the evidence.
I actually
That's
would
what
love to see a multiverse where this is Francis. I would love to see what Francis did during the run. And I'm
Francis would
excited.
have shot the computer.
Oh, anyway. Okay. So
No, he wouldn't have.
let's get into the plot. I'm going to read the intro crawl, which this is amazing. Great use of time in this movie. This intro crawl comes up like Star Wars, except it's just there and they hold it with no sound for a minute. So that's how you got to use your time in movies. Sometime in the 23rd century, the survivors of war, overpopulation, and pollution are living in a great dome city, sealed away from the forgotten world outside. Here, in an ecologically balanced world, mankind lives only for pleasure, freed by the servo mechanisms which provide everything. There's just one catch. Life must end at 30 unless reborn in the fiery ritual of carousel. Now, I don't know why I maybe did the half Britain, half US pronunciation, as is the norm for this movie because there are a bunch of British actors in it. To Jeff's point, there's a lot of stuff in this movie where they just present a thing and you're like, and here's what's annoying. It's really thought out, but you're like, do you want to put that in the movie? And they're like, we're good. So again, this carousel thing is going to be huge. We'll get to it, but that's what we're started with.
Wheel of Electric Death.
I love it. What I'll throw to you about this movie is it's based on a book. One of the authors actually wrote the screenplay for Ocean's 11 and was around forever.
Wait, which Ocean's 11?
The original, the 60s one.
Oh, the bad one.
Yeah, it was not good. But anyway, this story, the original one it was written out was to age 21. They made the thought, if we're going to make this a production, we're going to need to get older actors. So we're going to bump it to 30. And then, of course, they have 1970s mid 30-year-olds who now look like 40-plus-year-olds playing 20-year-olds in this book that's actually about 19-year-olds, which is a trip.
There's in their defense, 20-year-olds looked like 30-year-olds because everyone smoked inside back.
There's a scene with the Cubs scene, which, boy, they really do a good job explaining the existence of these guys, don't they? He goes to one guy, he's like, what are you, 14, 15? And the way it sounds, he goes 40 or 50, and I believe both. The 14, 15-year-old looks like he could be 40 or 50.
The head Cub guy looks like, the dude who maybe hangs around high school a little too long after graduating.
You know who I think he looks like? And I wonder if he's actually that guy. Just a couple of wavy lines guy from Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the point where I'm like, is he that guy? And I'm too lazy to look that up. Because also, what a coincidence that would be. It's a guy with a head that looks like a microphone.
This movie is chock full of talent, which is ridiculous. They got Michael York, of course, as I mentioned, Basil Exposition for us young folk. But so many of these actors were big back in the day. So the other big name is Peter Ustinov, who is a Tony away from an EGOT. Just an amazing actor that I think Spartacus, I believe,
he just has a big ego.
Yeah, nice one, Jeff. That's what we're here for. It has Farrah Fawcett as a 20-year-old when she's 30. Jenny Aguilar, who is apparently, there's a show called Call the Midwife, which has been going forever. I was like briefly aware.
Show, yeah.
Hugely popular show. Been on that. And then she was big back in the day, like in the 60s, et cetera. So like huge names. Michelle Stacy is a Cub that shows up very briefly. The only reason I bring her up is that she is the voice of Penny in Rescuers Down Under. Gary Morgan, maybe who you're thinking of, Jeff, one of the stunt people who went on to do stunts in Mask of Zorro, tying things together from other things we said. And then I do not want to drop his name.
It's Roscoe Lee Brown.
Roscoe Lee Brown.
Roscoe Lee Brown is not just the voice of Fox. He's also the voice of Kingpin from Spider-Man, the animated series. So,
and he is also, I want it. This is why I wanted to look him up, Logan, because I want full respect. He is a huge actor from back in the day as well, but does also go on to be the narrator in Babe. So a lot of these actors and actresses have like really weird things where they're huge in the 60s and somehow managed to still stick around in the zeitgeist, which is really cool.
But the lead, Logan, is played by Michael York, who, most importantly for Jeff, is
Basil Exposition.
No.
Oh, Mercutio.
Count Vertigo.
Oh, that is right. He is Vertigo.
That's Vertigo? Wait, how did I miss that? His IMDb is too damn long. He's Vertigo and Batman. What are we doing here? Man, Jeff, we could have just done that.
Thrown down a fucking cathedral.
He does not have good luck with cathedrals just in general. Like, Michael York needs to stay the hell away from cathedrals because, spoiler, there is a cathedral in this movie.
Yeah.
The cathedral is a district, for God's sake.
Well, anyway. All right, so we'll try.
Montague Kane in Batman. He double dips in that, too.
He was either Tybalt or Mercutio in the Zeffirelli.
Oh, I think he's Mercutio.
He's Mercutio, yeah.
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 Hello.
I will say this, by the way.
And I'm 18.
I went all out. I got the Blu-ray of this movie, which does have a weird director's comment. It's director, actor, producer. And they just splice it. They're not in a room together. They just randomly splice one of them in. So Michael York is talking, and listening to the dulcet tones of Michael York, who is very eloquent. So I'm listening to that in one ear while the movie is going on. And the dialogue they give Michael York in this movie is not that. It was jarring to be like, oh my gosh, he's got a charming voice and is really eloquent. And then some of the lines that Logan is going to say in this movie are something. I think
You're sad. That's fine. Let's have sex.
Let's have sex.
Let's have some incredible pickup line.
I will add though that she was in the dial a sex machine.
Yeah,
so
the future Tinder. Yeah.
I love that. We'll get into that because, man, the first person that shows up one of the things that I love about this movie is that this is in a post-homophobic universe where people just be fucking and they fuck whatever they want.
Yeah.
And it's no big deal. They
literally don't care about breeding as a concept because they don't raise children or anything like that. They usually use it just for population rebirth. So sex is only a pleasure thing. And there's a lot to talk about, especially in the future Tinder scene.
That's actually interesting how the movie opens. So the movie opens with that the text over. And then we come to Logan, who is in the nursery,
first we see the World's Fair version of what Epcot Center
okay. So
got Disco Krypton, where they see baby Kal-El in the thing.
You're like, this is going to be, your kids are going to love this. Logan starts in a nursery, who's like tapping on the glass to assumably his kid, but then his coworker comes up. They're both dressed, security guards or something, they're
dressed like the Undertaker, basically.
Yes, that's great.
Without the hat. So they've got these black jumpsuits. Also, what a weird job to have when we live for pleasure. But also I like to shoot people in the back
if they run. So we'll find that out. Logan is a sandman, which is like a future cop, and their only job is if you try and run away, they shoot you because you're supposed to die at 30. He's at a nursery.
They turn you into a rotting meat stack that gets absorbed by.
Yeah, the technology in this is bizarre because he's in the nursery, but we'll get to that. That's one scene. They're in the nursery. He's like talking to his future kid, we think. And then his coworker comes up and is like, what are you doing? He's like, I think that's my kid. And he's like, how would you know? What are you even doing here? Shows like nothing. He bangs his gun. His coworker, Francis, bangs his gun on the glass to be like, that'll get their attention. And they start having this discussion where they're basically saying, we're in the future. People just be fucking. You don't raise your own kids, but we can see the nursery.
We got to stop calling him coworker because he's his partner on multiple levels.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely his partner. Francis and Logan are definitely partners.
Yeah.
They're just a couple of dudes that likes to hang out. Sometimes they kiss. It's no big deal.
Yeah, no.
They definitely
a couple of dudes. But it is one of those things where it's just a very sexually free environment, which is so this is clearly, it's a statement on youth culture. This movie is a statement on the youth culture and the frivolity of if you were to only exist in those 30 years without thinking about the future, what wouldn't you be doing, right? Not just what would you be doing, which is fucking, obviously. But what wouldn't you be doing? There's no future planning because their future is just, I'm going to get recycled into another person.
Yeah.
So it is clearly, there's indictments on consumerism. There's clearly indictments on religion. Obviously, religion's a lie. That's kind of a big point of it. But also that youth culture statement is very interesting where, they kind of show what information is being lost. They meet an old person, that's a cat. And they're like, what's a cat? And he's, what the fuck is wrong with you? What do you mean, what's a cat?
And actually, to your point on the recycle, that's where they're going. So they're going to a big sporting event. This is where Jeff points use of sets. So even this, it's on, an MGM lot, but it's a huge lot. We have lots of people in costumes. This was aped pretty big in Community, where they copied the color scheme, where everybody is dressed in either yellow, green, or red. And that's this future society we're going to learn about, that everybody has a clock on their hand that signifies their age. When you get to red, when it starts blinking, you're going to die. And the only way you don't die is if you go to this thing called Carousel, which we're about to see, and get reborn. And everybody wears their age. And so the max age is 30. So we go through this big spelling bee, and they're going to a sporting event. You see a bunch of people in, I don't know, Canadian Flame gear. They're they have weird masks.
It looks like in the 90s, whenever they would bring a wrestler and they would just put them in a weird luchador outfit for WWE, except they weren't Mexican, it was like, oh, well, Al Snow's not doing anything backstage. Let La Grande El Wrestlo or something, and just throw him out for a garbage match. It is the most WCW like throwaway match looking luchador outfit imaginable with the flames and the mask.
It's one of the things I love too is that they eyes wide shut their way out there, but when they reveal the masks, everybody gasps, and I'm like, is this like a new thing? Or
this is like a daily. This would be a daily event, and actually, when we're talking nerd numbers, this is what I did: is you count there about 30 to 35 people there. We can't necessarily assume an even distribution or even a normal distribution, but this does give us kind of an upper bound of the number of people in this future society, because all of these people are about to die unless they can get reborn. The way you get reborn is you go into a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory like tube. You try and get up to the top and touch your palm to this big battery in the sky, almost Green Lantern-y, but you're getting shot at by fire or something. Who knows? I can't explain.
Is that what's happening? I can't really tell.
Yes.
People float around and then they burst into flames.
Yes. In theory, the game they're supposed to be playing, Jeff, is they're supposed to try and float up to the ceiling, and if they can make it to the ceiling and touch their palm to this battery on the ceiling, they'll get recharged. But if they get killed on the midst up, they die. So
also, I would totally have done Carousel.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
I mean, like, put me in Carousel. Let's go.
Also, this was a nightmare to fucking film.
That's what they said.
There's so many people on wires. They had to film that shit upside down. There's no way that someone did not get a concussion by crashing into the 15 other people floating by.
I will add this. HD has betrayed this, because you can see those wires.
Yeah.
Parting these fuckers around so hard in there.
It makes it even more harrowing, because you could see, oh God, this person might die like at any moment. But
I was watching this. I'm like, man, they do this every night.
Yeah. And like I said, if it's about 365 days a year, because you would assume people are born every day, as we see. Mm-hmm. That means like we have an upper bound of about 10,000 people in the society. Later, we're going to get an estimate about 1,600 to 2,000, but this is like the glimpse of what we got. People be fucking
1,600 to 2,000. Isn't that the people those are the people that left?
No, 1,000 are missing, and I'm going to have points on that.
Yeah.
So
sweet spot would be to be born on a leap year. That way, it's only like you and 3 other people on your carousel, and you just go right there. No one's blocking you.
Yeah. I would honestly start throwing hands in the carousel.
I'd
be giving people air DDTs and shit.
I would just start it with a nut shot. I would just be kicking people in the joke left
Johnny
and right.
Cage your way through it.
For no other reason, you don't have to watch that long in Logan's run. Like the first 10 minutes, you'll see the carousel scene. It's wild. But Logan and Francis are watching this. What we're going to discover is no one ever gets renewed. This is a way to placate the masses. That's the future society.
Get out of town.
Yeah, I know. Spoilers,
There's not a technology where if you touch a battery, it takes your soul and puts it into a new soul. That's...
Wait, government and religion are lying in order to placate the masses?
Oh, no.
Wait.
You two sound like Cubs, man, which we'll get to in a few scenes. So now we're going to get introduced to the concept.
That insane thing that they don't really explain at all.
But sorry, Jeff, we got 2 other insane things before we get to that third one. So now we're going to get introduced to running. So we got our beepers. Our 2 cops have beepers. And they're basically
running before.
Well, not in this movie. I don't think they know what running is in this movie. Spoiler alert. So Logan and Francis are told, hey, there's a runner in the middle of the mall. What do you got, Jeff?
Question, real quick. Do you think they always side-eye people that do cardio?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Like, fuck you doing?
I love this.
Fuck you doing?
But just sorry to jump way ahead to stuff I'm going to be saying later. Logan in Logan's run can't run. I don't know about you, Logan. I don't know if you can run. I think Michael York can run.
For sure.
He can't shoot and he can't run. So Logan in this movie cannot run. So to Jeff's point, if you're in the future and you see someone, and that tells us, right? Maybe nobody learns to run because they don't have to. So in the future, if you see someone who's like jogging, like if Jeff was running by jogging, be like, why are you fucking jogging, Jeff? What's going on? You training for something? What
are you doing? What are you trying to do?
So we're introduced to this concept.
You're trying to keep your heart healthy so you don't have a heart attack at 29? You're good. And that does stand to wit that this is a hedonistic society.
This is a society that I would love to see Bo Jackson thrown into, because he would run. He'd run
towards the guys.
Yeah, he would knock Logan's ass out and just plow through the wall.
These guys are 70s sexy and 70s athletic.
Yeah.
Meaning they're like really wiry. They've got these kind of coke bodies, not an ounce of muscle definition on them. And then, yeah, the idea of seeing like someone like Bo Jackson, whose legs are roughly the size of trees.
Bo Jackson, who literally
he
broke a hip, and they didn't believe. They were like, "There's no way you broke your hip. You shouldn't be able to walk." That's why it went undiagnosed. That Bo Jackson, that he like dislocated his leg from his hip. It got popped back in. He was like walking around. He's like, "What's wrong with me?" And they should have been like, "Dear God, you need to go to the hospital and get surgery right now." And they didn't do that because they were like, "Well, he couldn't be walking if he did that, right?" That's how freakish Bo Jackson is.
Derrick Henry just turned 31 this year, and he just go watch a Derrick Henry highlight reel from last season and imagine people trying to stop him from getting to age 31. It would be incredible.
Imagine, Michael York versus Khabib. Like that. I'm going to send
I'm just thinking about like the funniest athletes we could just put into the. Although it would be impossible for any of these people to be in there because something that we haven't mentioned. There is just only white people in this.
It's true.
No minorities.
It is the 70s.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sure they painted a couple of their eyes different.
Not even in the background. They're just white people.
Yeah, Logan. Yeah. It's called A Utopia.
Oh my God. Okay. Thanks for that, Jeff. Okay. So let's get back on the crappy movie. So now we're introduced to some of the worst guns in the future.
Oh, the
do I have to break you two up in? So we discover the cops have these weird guns that, are like sparklers that shoot fire that goes through stuff. And we're introduced to a runner. So it's two guys trying to chase someone who's going to run. I don't even know they know this person's running just a person out in the open, but we're told they're running.
They have trackers in their hands, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, everybody's got a tracker, but how do they know he's running?
Okay. He was going faster than 4 miles per hour.
Or was it that he was supposed to go to Carousel and he didn't?
Because he didn't check in at Carousel. Because remember, they have I think we failed to mention that they have on their palms, you have a light jewel or a jewel that runs from green to red, and then we will find out clear. And
it actually starts clear, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's fun. And so you use that as, it's a little bit like those people that want you to like hand scan your way at an Amazon Fresh. You're like, I'm not giving Jeff Bezos my biometrics. What the hell?
Yeah, no.
Stop giving companies your biometrics, by the way. What the fuck is wrong with you?
If you want to use this app, just let us scan your retina and take your ID. That'll be fine.
I told Universal Studios to fuck off. They wanted my biometrics to get in. I was like, no. I'm like, well, you'll have to show ID. I'm like, yeah, as we've been doing for the entirety of human existence since you've existed.
And that's why you can't go on the carousel ride at Universal Studios and get shot in the air.
I'd be recycled when I was like 9 because they'd be like, time for you to do this. To be like, fuck you. Or 16, right? 16 is when your light goes on.
Oh, yeah. So actually, Jeff explaining is correct. They know he's a runner because that person should have been at Carousel, didn't check in. They're chasing him down. They have these futuristic guns that I don't even know how they work. And Logan cannot shoot worth a damn.
Logan is the worst shot. Now, you could say, much in many wars, that there's an existential crisis that hits Logan and therefore he cannot accurately shoot. But also he seems to pride himself on his job and killing people, so that kind of pulls that theory out a little bit.
I think he just doesn't care. That's the thing. So I want to get into a little bit of Logan before we move on there. One of the things why I like Logan as a protagonist in this is he's not as fanatical as you would expect for a character in a movie where it's, this whole society is gone and that. He's really just more, this is just how things are. Why would we change it? It's weird. Why would you do that? He's kind of like a middle neutral, which is different because usually you have the super fanatic learns everything is a lie, or it's just they're immediately from the beginning against the system. This is just a go with the flow guy for most part of it until he's, thrown into this.
He does like fucking.
Well,
he loves
we can't even judge that based on the society because everybody appears to.
Yeah.
Now, Logan can't shoot this guy, so eventually Francis shoots him. He falls off a balcony. They call for cleanup. You have these people. This is the epitome.
Also, this guy's parkouring his way pretty well.
Yeah, he's not doing that bad. The runner's pretty good. Like, again, you should have been suspicious of this person doing parkour for fun when everybody else was just having sex. We are introduced to the epitome of 70s special effects where there are people in hover jets that come and spray the guy down and he just decomposes. So we're
Quick
introduced to
4-stage dissolve process that's very easy for the editing crew.
Yeah, it was. I was watching that. I was like, this is great. I love it. It turns into different forms of meat.
And then
How bad do you think that smells while it's happening?
I bet it smells like Burger King. So great.
Fair.
Logan finds a little Ankh like metal symbol on the dude that he keeps. Like, we'll find out about that tomorrow. Scene ends. Logan goes home and is in the most glorious robe of all time.
Fuck robe.
He's in the
Yeah,
fuck.
like, no.
There's no, and you know what? Fun behind the scenes fact: Michael York still has that robe. He kept that robe.
You're goddamn right he does. How else is he gonna fuck?
You got to
Now,
get it.
One of my favorite things is Supreme Leader Snoke in Star Wars in the sequel trilogy dresses like he's in Logan's Run, and his palace has very Logan's Run vibes, which I actually really love. Snoke lives on a Coke mirror, and he just wears like a gold robe and walks around being like, I'm fucking cool as shit.
There's no way that's not unintentional. There's no way that's not intention.
Right.
Ryan Johnson, 100%.
One of the things I actually love The Last Jedi. His story.
Oh, same. No, I
It
still
takes the
stand by it.
swings. It flips off the concept of fan service, which I like. I like the idea that it was like, let's do a unique thing. And then J.J. Abrams is like, no, back to the red herrings. And you're like, Christ.
And then I get to be my nerdy self and point out it did really well financially, and people say it doesn't matter if they didn't like it because they're whiny crybabies. I like the movie. All right, so he's in the fuck robe. We're introduced to a modern day Tinder and some wild ass. Turns out they were new for the time, but definitely dated 70s special effects. Where he's got this weird mirror thing where like you see people appear and then they kind of come out, and to the like everybody's
It's like the
fucking,
Star Trek teleporter.
yeah,
From the
definitely.
Star Trek original series. Yeah.
But slightly upgraded because the hologram technology they used in this movie is newer. That
The
is
special effects are 10 years newer. Yeah.
exactly. They were new at the time. If you haven't seen it, it's new to you. First, Logan sees like an attractive looking shirtless guy and is not tonight. And then we are introduced.
Tonight, my good man.
Then we are
Maybe
introduced to.
I'll give you the rogering of your life.
I need you to meet Michael York for real, Jeff. Just
I'll make you beg for it, my man, but
You're
not
going to want
today.
my Yorkshire pudding.
he has to have said that. There is no way in hell.
Yeah, well,
Michael, that.
I'm going to put my banger in your mash.
Yes, I think.
We're going to have a Yorkshire pudding at my Sunday spit roast.
Okay. Michael York, if you're listening, we do love you.
hard
I've
to
said this all. Of course I love this. So we're introduced to our female lead. Jessica shows up next. Beautiful. Logan's like, let's go. And we're kind of shown that like this is the fuck wheel, right? He's just supposed to say, hey, let's go. And she clearly doesn't like cops and is not into it. And it makes a lot of sense because she's wearing the same symbol on her neck. It's just going to signify people that run. So she's clearly trying to get out of there as smoothly as possible without raising suspicions. And he's like, what's the matter? Don't you want to stay? They kind of start talking a little and she's, hey, what about running unsuspiciously? And he like pulls his gun on her and he's like, if you run, I'm pull my gun on you. But she lucks out when Francis, who is clearly Logan's partner, shows up with a woman on each arm, throws some like pink smoke, dust, heroin in the air. Jessica leaves. Everybody else has sex.
Yes, this is the
Everybody
gayest
else
scene in the
have
movie.
sex.
Like it opens with the dude and Logan's he's just, not in the mood today. Then when Jessica rejects him at first, he's, are you into women? Without any judgment, he's just inquisitive. Then Francis comes in and it all ends with a giant pink mist cloud covering them and two women before they just fuck in a all holes allowed orgy.
Oh, hell yeah, man. That is extremely my shit. I love it.
Yeah, no.
Now, next scene, they do a plant and payoff that never gets paid off at all, where Francis and Logan walk into work and they run by a coworker who is just bloodied to hell, not showing any reaction, and says he got beat up by some Cubs chasing a runner. He's going to go
beat up by a kid.
He doesn't say, he says the Cubs got me really good is what he says.
Yeah, it's a child.
Jeff is, you're spoiling it, Jeff. You're spoiling what the Cubs are.
They're called Cubs, Dre.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's cut to hell.
He got beat by Andre Dawson and Ryan Sandberg.
R.I.P. to a real one.
All right. Nice double reference there. I appreciate that. So I'm going to go to the new you place to get patched up. Logan says, get a new face while you're there. We're getting lots of stuff planted that's going to get referenced later that doesn't matter at all to the damn plot. So Logan and Francis.
Wait, stop. The Cubs, the getting patched up and getting a new face are very integral to the plot. What do you?
They come up in the plot. Yeah, we'll do spoilers. They come up in the plot, and you're like, awesome. Are we going to do this? And then they're like, cool. We showed you them. Fuck it. Let's talk about cats. That's what this movie does. So I guess Logan is correct. It's like a plant and half payoff. We're like, and paid. Never mind. Spoilers for a future movie. Logan and Francis go check into work. As I mentioned, we kind of see a police station where we can see that they can track runners in real time. This is what I was mentioning, Jeff. There are like these big LED lights that are flashing colors that are supposed to represent the population. And if you're a nerd like me and freeze framing counts, there's roughly 400 per age group, which would be about 1,600 people. There might be some unaccounted for, so maybe around 2,000, which does line up with the logic of this. And we find out that the Sandmen have to check in their evidence from their kills into this device, which is going to be a AI sentient computer. Francis
it looks like a dehydrator.
It absolutely. Well, that's so much 70s
you have to make
technology.
Ankh jerky, yeah.
So much 70s special effects is you have to make it practical, so you want to make it futuristic, but it's just something, and then so it just ends up looking hilarious when it does look like various kitchen appliances. Logan goes in to check in his evidence from his kill the night before. He puts in a little onk, and boom, the supercomputer freaks the hell out and is like, Logan, hey, Logan, come here. I got something to tell you. You know, getting Logan into that van, just utterly suspicious. What it says is, hey, by the way, this onk is a symbol of the runners, and it's associated with the word sanctuary. I need you to go undercover. I need you to Donnie Brasco.
It's very fun. It's kind of funny because you're yada-yadaing it, but this is such an important crux of this whole thing where it's just, okay, come sit down in this.
And it's a 70s computer voice, right? So the super robotic. And it's just,
it's the female version of HAL 9000.
And
right?
Logan is an idiot, which makes this even more awesome. Because you got the computer being like, this is sanctuary. He's like, well, what's sanctuary? It's like, you need to go undercover. He's like, what's undercover? Logan.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just want to fuck a dude tonight. I promised him. I promised I'd fuck that guy. I've got things to do, gal.
That makes this, you're making this movie actually that much more sad because it never happens. He never comes back.
I'm so horny for that rockin' twink that showed up last night. And here I am taking direction from a television.
I'm 100% certain if we took like a screen by screen look at the club later on, we would have seen that twink having the time of his life in the background.
Oh yeah, he's just like, Logan, hey, how you been, bud?
Well, that's how much he loves Logan because he leaves it to spoil the orgy scene, which is showing up in this movie.
It'd be great that Logan, hold on, let me get some oil real quick. Let me get him.
Yeah.
I'm here at the sex club.
He does do that later, actually, in this movie. We keep jumping ahead and making it sound way cooler than it is because when we get there, it's gonna depress you all listening along. But yeah, we basically have
tips are dead.
It's true. Well, they're all over 30, Jeff. Anyway, so you got this AI computer that is telling Logan, hey, there's this underground group of people that run associated with Sanctuary. I need you to go undercover. What's up, Jeff?
Do we think this is an AI computer or just a person through a screen that is acting like a computer? Because there are people that are living long, healthy lives somewhere in this industry.
They never explain.
They never explain it, do they, folks?
Nope. I think it's a computer. Yeah. That's my 2 cents. I do think this is AI for reasons that will come up later. That's my headcanon. But regardless,
it's like the movie. It's like the movie Equilibrium, except they don't explain the thing at the end where they, I was the asshole this entire time.
Which I like. One of the, here's what I like. I like that not all backstory has to be explained for you to understand.
Yeah, because why would you find that out?
George Miller understands that. There's a great article. I forget who wrote it, so if it's someone that sucks, I'm sorry. But it was a cracked article that came out right when Fury Road and Age of Ultron came out. And it was about the difference between the two. And it was like, Age of Ultron's not a particularly great movie. And part of it is they have to explain every single fucking thing that's happening. Whereas with Fury Road, they were like, you can figure it out. You have a brain that works.
Can I actually make a point that I texted you, Jeff? And you can both tell me if I'm crazy, but I'm 100% right here.
I don't know what this is.
This movie is Fury Road. It's the same exact plot.
I mean, it's a chase. I mean,
it's someone trying to escape an evil society. They run to try and go to Sanctuary. Sanctuary is not there. they come back and are like, let's blow up the water to free everybody. It is the same plot.
Something.
Yeah. Logan's Run is fury. This movie, as both of you have already been saying, has its hooks in so much future stuff. As I mentioned, like the obvious one, Dan Harmon just cribbed it exactly like verbatim for an episode of Community. People have seen this. The people involved were all big names. So like this sci-fi, so much of this is stuck around, which is what does make it wild, because it's by no means, it wasn't a failure. It was a monumental success. As you mentioned, it helped out MGM. It kept the lights on for them. It just happened to come right in front of bigger things that everybody remembers more fondly. But many people clearly go back to this and borrow from it and know what it's talking about. So it's this weird movie where it's like mainstream people might not know about it, but it's that really annoying indie music people where they're like, oh yeah, everybody's heard this album and they use riffs, et cetera, from it.
You can understand, like, we're talking about how there's a lot of failings in this movie, but we'll talk about this later probably, but you can see why numerous filmmakers have tried to remake this, because you can see, if there was a better budget or more modern technique in there, I can see why people would really want to get a crack at this.
I think this movie would be considered legendary if they had a script doctor.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem with this whole movie is the script. It is certainly a movie of its time, which we're going to see, like, again,
the score's rad.
The score's rad. I mean, because the music's by, what's his name there?
It's Jerry
Gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one thing is, there's a lot of stuff that is confusingly unclear. I don't mind unclear when it is purposefully vague. I hate unclear when it's just, we didn't bother to explain why this exists or why this is here. There's nothing within the story either hinted at or direct to explain this. It just is a side quest that is not really that necessary or could have been done in a lot faster fashion.
Yeah, there's a lot there, and we'll see how much more I talk. Anyway,
but Logan's been put on an undercover mission, and that's important too, that being a runner is his undercover job, and we never know if he's actually breaking or not.
Well, they'll show stuff on screen that tells us how long he's staying undercover, and it's a long time. To Logan's point, that's what makes this so great as a pro and antagonist, the anti-hero. He's just go with the flow. So much of this movie, I'm on this mission, this is what I'm doing, that's what I'm told to do, I'm just going to do it. And he's reacting around him, which is nice.
There's also a vagueness to what he has because, well, I'm just going to get to it. But yeah, in order to go undercover, they fuck up his jewel. And he's supposed to have, I believe, 4 years left. So they wipe it and basically program it so that he has only 1 day left. And they want him to join as, I'm a runner, I'm doing this. He asks multiple times, if I do this, do I get my 4 years back? And he's greeted with no response.
Yeah, he gets
so that's also a partial thing where it's like so I can see, is he going to go with this because he believes that the system will give him his 4 years back? Or is he like, I'm fucked, I need to actually start doing this? So there's a little bit of will he, won't he, until he actually starts making decisions. Which is
also important to note that he and Francis do have a theological debate, and he actually doesn't think people do recycle.
No.
Like I like to watch it, but I don't really believe in it. That's silly garbage.
Because he comes up and he asks if he'd ever seen anybody, and that's like a key point. And then the other, you actually mentioned this, Jeff. So the computer's like, computer or person? I like your thinking, because it is not clear. There's a robotic voice. It could be a person giving it to him. It could be an AI computer giving it to him.
The robot is voiced by just a woman talking. So it could be either or.
I like the headcanon. But he goes and says, the computer says, 1,000 or so people are missing because they've run. They've gone to Sanctuary. You got to go to Sanctuary and blow it up. That's his mission, and you're fucked, right? You're a runner. If you go to your coworkers, you're a runner. They're going to track you down.
I'm a little confused here, because does that mean nobody's been recycled?
And it doesn't answer. Yeah, the computer
doesn't answer. But also that question doesn't tie to the scenario that's been placed in front, is it? Like people, 1,000, like something like 1,200 people have run and they're missing, and you need to find the Sanctuary. So is he given this assignment to kill him because he's been questioning the scenario?
That's an interesting one. Yeah, what I do love when you're saying it's a love-hate, where you're saying it's not explained. It's like, we don't 100% know why he's going on the mission. The headcanon I'm kind of given, by the way, because Logan, this is so awkward to say Logan. So Logan, the co-host, noted that this is an equilibrium scenario. Equilibrium's another dystopian future where, like, after a war, we have to tamp down everybody and make sure that they don't screw things up. So what we're kind of told is the post-apocalyptic scenario, you want everybody in control. And my belief is you have the society that needs enough breeding pairs to keep going, and we're slowly siphoning and losing people. And so the computer's going, we're fucked if we don't stop that thing from draining. But then you're also bringing up an idea, Jeff, which is if Logan's a Sandman who's walking around going, do renewals happen? And he's got 4 years left, if they're just like, fuck you, we're going to kill you. And we're going to try and figure out Sanctuary at the same time.
Okay, so this is, so, because I've seen this a bunch.
The Ankh is what triggers it. So obviously that's not the case.
Yeah, no, okay. So there's a split thing, and you don't understand it until you see the Roscoe part with the robot. So the AI woman thing believes Sanctuary exists. It wants to get rid of it because it doesn't want something to corrupt its system of there. It thinks that there's 1,000 people missing and living in a sanctuary. And you know that because when it this is way down in the movie, it interrogates Logan and it literally is asking him about Sanctuary because it has no clue as to the reality of Sanctuary, which we find out later. So this is a earnest undercover mission because it does want to destroy it. It's not a sending him to just die because he's been asking questions. Like they believe.
Yeah, I realized after the fact.
Well, here's what I can throw. I could see it 100% being both, right? I want you to destroy Sanctuary, and you've got 4 years left, and you're asking questions. So I want Sanctuary gone, and I want you to be the one to do it, and then I'm getting rid of all the dissidents right at once. So I
think it's specifically just because of the Ankh. I think if Francis had gotten it, he would have been given the same mission. It's literally just dumb luck of that. Because again, like that's the triggering thing is that it finally has a thing there, and it's okay. We can kind of get into this if you have this symbol.
And it is actually important because the Ankh is a key to get out, and so that's like important. It's turned into a religious symbol, but it's actually this thing is a key for a door on the outside. So that's why the Ankh is so important, and the computer knows this. We do get Logan attempting to catch up with Francis, as Jeff mentioned. He's, hey, has anybody ever renewed or what happens? And Francis isn't having his chill the fuck out, Logan. So Logan goes and grabs Jessica.
First, while he's having this conversation, Francis is in a hot tub and wants Logan to join him and keeps
water rejuvenator.
Join it in there. Further with these two are definitely fucking thing.
Yeah, one of the things that I will mention too, because I think people listening to this might notice that our recollection of this film is very discordant. That's because that's what this movie is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of, this is also a thing for some reason. Like, that happens a lot in this. Also there's this side quest.
Farrah Fawcett's in there for some reason, and she's wearing a different dress. Why?
There's very much
it gets blown up later.
This is the 70s before people gave a shit about lore. Yeah, there's no...
It's weird that I'm going to disagree because I listened to the directors and behind, and they gave a lot of thought to lore, but what really kind of happened after the fact is they were just like, fuck it. So they would come up
That's what I mean. Yeah. They don't care. It's a wizard.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, this is not the fucking... we have to make sure this connects to Age of Ultron 5 sequels from now or that stuff. Because, again, this is 70s sci-fi. They don't give a shit about that.
The sequels didn't exist until, like, 1982. Yeah, Empire Strikes Back, first sequel of all time.
The writer is, I explained why this is that, and if you have this scene and it makes sense, and they're like, we cut that scene for pacing, and this doesn't make sense at all. And it's, fair enough.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so... Logan, though, is trying to talk to Jessica to join the underground, and it does turn out like she goes, and as Logan wants to meet you, and they're like, so we'll kill him, bring him to kill him. Logan's going to be screwed.
He's a Sandman, and he's clearly undercover.
He's I'm cool, and they're like, you're clearly
not
good
at being undercover.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to be a runner like you. That's exciting, isn't it?
I would argue this next scene helps a lot here because Logan's about to get killed for being the worst undercover cop of all time. But he gets an alert that there's a runner at Cathedral. They get rid of the thes in front of it. Let's go to Arcade. Let's go to the Cathedral. So Jessica says, let's go to Arcade.
You're European.
To die. Yeah. And that
also,
is true.
By the way, the arcade space is purposely designed to look like a mall. Yeah. Which is where young people used to hang out all the time. It does. It shows the absence of depth in this society. They're not going to library.
That would have been awesome. Let's go to the library. That would have been, anyway.
It would have been great if everything was futuristic, but there's also an Orange Julius. Like, that's the only thing that has survived this apocalypse.
Let's go to Orange Julius would have been an amazing line. But so they're going to go to Cathedral. Logan gets in a future like tube thing. And this is cool. Like they have a golf cart that's dressed up to look like a future trolley tram that goes over the city and a miniature model, like where a lot of the budget went. This stuff looks cool, where they had miniatures that made it look like a future tramway, like a real thing that built in it. So they're going in this future car to go to Cathedral. Logan
it's what assholes want when they want to make Hyperloop.
Yeah. Oh my God, there is a Hyperloop. There is literally a Hyperloop.
It's Hyperloop.
Yeah, it's Hyperloop. But Logan gets in a Hyperloop car with Jessica and they are talking. And one thing I do love that comes up is this notion that no one's raised by a mother or dad, that, the kids are just, just brought up in a nursery by robots or whatever. And this explains a lot of the jiltedness and the weird talking and the fact that Logan can't lie for shit. So they wind up at Cathedral. And there is a weird sign that says 2074. So we get a little bit of the lore that they don't explore a lot of. That we're about 200 years, right? This dome area has probably been around 200 years. And parts of it are either built on parts of other things that have decayed, or were there new and shiny originally and decayed since. And in fact, I forgot to mention this, as Jeff's saying, things you just kind of forget. Logan is like Logan 5, and Jessica is Jessica 6. That's how they don't have last names. They just have their name and the number after. So he is the 5th Logan. She's the 6th Jessica. This again lines up with that timeline of about 200 years.
Maroon.
Right? Yes.
They're the Eve 6.
The Johnny 5s.
But also, I wanted to add to the Cathedral thing. A lot of that does have to do with the fact that, like, religion doesn't exist anymore. So the Cathedral is run down and it is used as like a place that sucks, basically.
Cathedral looks like, have you ever seen those blogs where they go to abandoned areas of Disney World? And it's just all the swamp. That's exactly what Cathedral looks like.
And so we're told Cathedral is really dangerous. It's been walled off by these Connect 4 looking gates. Logan has to get permission to go in. He warns Jessica, hey, I got to go first. This could be dangerous. He goes in and he's attacked by a bunch of theater kids.
He's attacked by theater kids who have ADD.
Yeah. The best choreography. It's amazing. It is amazing.
They come down like Cirque du Soleil, their asses down like these wires, and it's the most theater kid energy. It's insane. How the hell did that one Sandman get beat up by any of these children? Like, I would be ragging on him.
I mean, there's a lot of them, and they have a broken.
They have one spear between them all. You have a fucking fire gun.
Yeah. And that's Logan does just pull out the fire gun. And then he also just, bullies the kid rightfully. So, and as Jeff was saying, he's asking about age. We're introduced to this concept of, hey, this kid is yellow right now. When he turns green, he's going to get kicked out. So the Cathedral's been taken over by kids that attack people. Also maybe just cute little kids that steal, because there's this little girl named, I think, Mary too. And she steals.
So where are they going after they turn 15? Do they just get killed? Because they're just unruly kids. Like, how'd they get out there? How'd that little girl get to Cathedral?
I think that's where they dump the ADD kids. I'm not joking.
But that's such a weird and stupid. They're like, our population is shrinking. It's, well, you got a whole fucking gang of kids running around Cathedral that you've walled off. Bring them in. Rehab them. Do some fucking Clockwork Orange shit on these kids.
Well, but you could make the
you're
argument.
A dystopia.
You could make the argument, right? This is the difference between Sanctuary and Cathedral. Cathedral is, these kids suck. Logan's right, probably right. Like, they're diagnosed with that's actually a much more messed up. But
part of the community.
But Logan could be correct in that it could be a eugenics-based thing. They just throw them in there and wall them off and are like, if you mature and you can come back, great. If not, you're just going to die out. And the only reason Logan's going there is a runner went there, and the reason the runner is probably going there is that exact reason, saying, I'm going to go to a place that I don't want the Sandman to chase me. So it does.
Yeah, but
have
they mentioned that the Cubs like kill anybody old.
Yeah.
So it's like, how is this place being allowed to still exist? Is what I'm saying. In a dystopian
Yeah, why don't they
future,
just stormtrooper?
Why don't they? Yeah, because later we
see
see a bunch of guys in black and silver jumpsuits running in, causing trouble. So it's not like they don't know how to do a military police.
I think
again, they suck at fighting and shooting.
Logan nailed it. This is intentional, and this is just like a messed up place that they just throw problem kids.
I don't think that's the case, though. Like,
I don't. It's one of those things they don't explain, because logically, following Jeff's like train of thought, like, yes, if you're trying to secure your utopian thing like that, then yes, you would.
It doesn't make sense
those
to the
children.
narrative. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to the narrative that they themselves have established.
Also, the how did they get there? That's mine. Just well, this kid sucked in grade school, so they just threw it there.
Well, I can tell you how they got there by clear car.
Yeah,
there's just a car that goes there. Why? Why do they have a tram line that goes to this fucking place?
Yeah.
Because that's the set they built, Jeff, and they're going to use the damn set.
Where the two murderer guys chase after him.
Oh, yeah.
Why did they have a car that goes to the bad part of Epcot Center?
The part
don't go to Epcot Center.
Murderous children. Maybe they do wall it off, but they also make it just regularly accessible.
Yeah, we do basically, as Jeff notes, like Logan was going to get killed. The people that were going to kill him are still following around all ominously. There's a fun director's commentary note where this little girl steals Jessica's armband and then gives it back to her later just as
you mean Newt?
Was it Newt? Was that her name?
No, it just looks like Newt from Alien.
Nobody calls me Rebecca.
Yeah.
Except for my brother.
Right.
Oh shit!
Still haven't seen it,
Dre,
Jeff.
that's on the list of the season.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch. Dre
it
hasn't
later.
seen this movie yet.
Wait, Dre has not seen Aliens?
No, and we all came down to this because you were talking about how your kid wants to see a movie or something like that, and you were like a little young, and I was like, show the kid Aliens or something like that.
Anyway,
right?
well, no, I ran it. He asked me about. There was okay. Well, we'll take this brief tangent. I'll probably just get cut by future me.
Do it.
There was a little like image on this game that does a bunch of IP theft called Geometry Dash. It has little characters that look like things from popular IP. One of them looked like the alien from Alien and Aliens. And so Daniel was like, what is
what
this?
What else would you want in a geometry-based game for children?
Exactly. So I was just like, oh, that's Alien. He was asking about it. And so I like did the parent thing where I kind of started explaining. I was like, oh, yeah, there's these creatures on the space thing. And then I'm like, actually, you don't need to know the plot. We'll watch it when you're older. Yeah. And then later he was recounting parts of the plot to Alien to me. And I was like, how do you know the plot to Alien? He was like, Dad, you told me. And I was like, oh, yeah, I did start telling you the plot. That's my bad. And then Jeff's, well, you told him part of the plot. You got to show it to him now. That's the rule,
Alien, man. Like,
wait until your kid plays the algebra-based game where they show Mr. White cutting off a dude's ear. You have 2 ears. Now you have 1 ear.
With the Predator. Yeah.
Well, of course we watch Reservoir Dogs, though. I mean, Madsen's a treasure. Of course you see that.
Mr. White and Mr. Predator working together on Marvin Nash's ear.
I want Mr. Predator in a Reservoir Dog remake now. Just tell him.
Because he found himself on the wrong side of the integer line or some shit.
It'd be great if Mr. Predator was the undercover cop.
I know you're
Predator's sitting there with a gut wound, and he's just.
You see him trying to put the goop on his stomach, and like, no, we'll get you to the doctor. He's like, just trying to he's like, just get me some drywall, please. I need to crumple up some drywall and put it with some aloe lotion, and that'll.
Sorry, we have to leave this amazing hypothetical to get back to this movie. Sorry, y'all.
Sorry, I was talking about better hypothetical movies.
Yeah, Jeff just coming up with a better made-up premise. But anyway,
I'm just trying to have a good time talking about these runs.
No, that's not what we're here for, Jeff. We're here to talk about Farrah Fawcett and plastic surgery and Logan having the worst plan in the world. Where Logan says,
did we also forget that the first runner that they killed had recently changed his appearance, but he changed it the day he decided to run. And he finds that it was actually the scan happened. And he was like, okay, so this surgeon is clearly connected to runners in some way because he's willing to change their appearance so they can run.
But after they deal with the Cubs, Logan finds that runner and he chooses to let her go. You're okay. Is this part of him being undercover, or is he actually having his sympathetic feelings? But as soon as they leave, Francis, the jealous bitch, just guns her down immediately.
Because I hear her scream. She screams like but I don't know anyway.
That is the moment where Francis goes full, scorned wife, and he's just absolutely not. This is not happening. No way. And he's on a mission for the rest of the film.
And it is glorious. Francis is one of my favorite parts of the movie, and
Francis
I would make the argument. And Francis leaves the
plays
movie.
Duncan Idaho in David Lynch's Dune, and I just realized that right now.
Oh, that's awesome. And he died. There were some actors in this movie that died way too young, and he was one of them. We wind up at the, Logan, as Jeff says, it's like a weird combo. I need to get a new face.
We're not going to make a commentary on the fact that actors from Logan's Run died young.
Yeah, I thought full stop. That was the comment. End of message.
The irony part of it.
Logan Run, die young. That's the
See, Jeff, I don't need to explain it. I just say it and move on. That's how we do things. I learned that watch from Logan's Run. You just say it, move on. Just like this movie. We're almost halfway through. I think it's
plastic surgery.
We wind up at plastic surgery. There's this young-looking doctor. Logan's, I thought you were older, even though he clearly looks older. He's like, no, I use my own work. And Logan's asking for a new face. Farrah Fawcett's there.
Yeah, she's turn your hair brown. And also lay down in this laser bed.
But it's her crotch.
Surgery
she puts her crotch right there. She's just lay by my crotch in this laser bed, and he's done.
The plastic surgery choices in here are hilarious because you get like this iPad, and it's just you choose a top part of the head, you choose the middle part of the face, and then the jawline. So you pick between those three and just make a. What game was that?
Yeah. Those are like books
when you
that
were a
do
little
that
kid?
too. Yeah, like the books that'll have three different, and you can it's like.
You're talking about the Super Mario 3 bonus level.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yes,
bingo. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. They did. By the way, behind the scenes, they did mention they didn't have the technology at the time for it. They said in future we would have just done Photoshop. Didn't have it at the time. So Logan's right. It looks hilarious. Logan goes in to get a new face. The doctor's showing off this technology. There are a bunch of, no joke, metal dildos that shoot lasers. Picture that in like a blender. That's a thing. So Logan lies down in a blender of metal dildos that shoot lasers, and the doctor's showing it off, and he's like, these lasers cut you and then automatically heal you. Then he gets a phone call.
That's what lasers do.
That's how
healing.
Lasers cut you, and then the stuff kills you. That's how this system works. They go through the trouble of explaining that, not the other stuff, but how this system works. The doctor gets a call on a Zach Morris phone, picks it up and is understood, and then he basically shuts off the safeguard on his plastic surgery device. And it's just like, what if I kill you with my lasers, Logan? Giving Logan ample time to get up after he's cut by a laser, try and grab his gun. The doctor has a freeze gun. This happens. Logan and the doctor fight, and Logan kills the doctor while Farrah Fawcett cries. And then jilted lover Francis shows up, and Logan hits as a boxer. Jeff, did this offend you?
By the way. I love that this guy was just laser diced. It's so funny.
Yeah, nah.
That happens, and then Logan punches Francis in what has to offend Jeff as a professional fighter. I can't even describe it. And then we briefly
fight with Francis where he karate chops him.
Francis, Logan, what are you doing? And then Logan says, get out of my way, Francis, and hits him, but it's not done well. And then he starts running, and this is one of my theses where they don't know how to run.
This scene annoys me for something that will pop up in the future because it's a very easy storytelling thing that could have made something better when they get to the door later on, which I'll just get to when we get there.
Yeah.
All right. So
fight choreography in this movie was basically created by watching old episodes of Star Trek.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's Kirk fighting.
This is why Bruce Lee was so angry whenever he was asked to fight to people like Burt Ward.
Absolutely not. All right. Now this next scene, they wanted this next scene, y'all, to be 3 times as long and made the argument it would have made this an artistic movie we'd still be talking about. We've got an orgy scene coming up. So Jessica's like, all right, I trust you, right? You're almost getting killed by Francis. Let's run. The way to get to at least the underground is you got to go through the secret sex shop.
It's not a secret. It's just a club.
That's what you just walk up and it's Fucktown USA.
All right, so you're right. It's Fucktown USA, but it does have a secret exit out the back door.
Go, shorty. It's your birthday.
You got it,
You're
Jeff. I saw it.
orgy like it's your birthday.
So at this point, Logan and Jessica go into a giant orgy where time slows down. It's done in slow motion. This scene
It's just
doesn't.
a scene from Barbarella.
It absolutely
Yes.
is. For what it's worth, this scene does not have actual nudity. That's coming later. But it does. Yeah, it's
Yes,
true.
there is.
Yes, it does. What the fuck are you
There are
talking
clearly
about?
titties there. What are you? Yeah.
According now, this is interesting. Now, maybe go back and do it because I do believe they're covered well enough. At least they're saying that, or they're lying. One of the two.
They're
No,
lying.
there's flat out titties.
There is straight
There
up
is
titties in
nipple-
that. Unless
Are
the
you sure?
Blu-ray didn't have the.
I'm going to say this. Like, I know that there are nipples showing up. I don't remember in this scene, but now we can, listeners,
oh, yeah.
go back and look.
No, it's because like I was watching it for free on Tubi, and I was like,
Same.
be able to access this.
Yeah.
Maybe we got the better tittier version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe on the Blu-ray,
Tubi's got
maybe they
titties.
actually did that. Tubi didn't have
Maybe
the
it's
budget.
a Blu-ray.
to-
'Cause it makes you sad because there's less titties.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So there's a bunch of titties, and then there's a bunch of ripped dudes who are like the most jacked dudes in the 70s. Because
Most
everyone
70 yeah.
else, like, these are like clearly, oh, yes, you've been naked for money before, jacked, like, level of people.
Right, 100%. Yeah.
It's funny because, like, they're all trying to escape Francis and stuff, but you can kind of see them at the same time. Oh no, my horniness is taking me over. I kind of want to stay here a little bit longer. Logan
like to
starts
stick
get
around
clawed
here
at,
and
and you can see that he's a little, oh no, maybe go ahead, Jenny. I'll be with you in a minute.
I'm gonna have a little bit of Logan's fun real quick.
Yeah.
Right?
Even Francis, while he's chasing him, starts to be a little, oh no, wait, well, I'm here again. Oh yeah.
Let's not give into the rampant
Well,
horniness.
I mean,
coursing
again,
through my
yeah.
bones.
my only complaint with you, Logan, where you're talking about like the subtle, when you're doing like undercover plot, you never noticed. You see those clickbait articles, and you're like, hot take: Francis and Logan are lovers, and Logan's running. It's just like Darth Vader's the bad guy. We got it. Anyway, that's a
Yeah.
Cody Johnston
wanna
hilarious
say-
cracked video. I'm doing a throwback to, by the way.
I think that whatever that pink orgy sex that they had earlier is probably being like hosed into that nightclub. Everyone is like,
Yeah,
on
it's a
ecstasy,
drug of some sort,
clearly.
and they're supposed to
Yeah.
be showing it because the lighting's weird. It's slow motion. Logan and Jessica are like motioning at each other in slow mo, and yeah, she's hey, there's a secret door out the back. Francis almost gets stopped by the sex, but he is able to figure out, hey, they ran away. He doesn't know where they. We do a lot of this where Francis gets like blocked by something, and we don't necessarily see how he's able to overcome the obstacle, but he's cool. We give it to him. All right, now on to one of many. Now, I would make the argument that's the end of kind of the futuristic, cool special effects. Now we're going to get into a lot of what if Logan and Francis walk around with the exclusion of Box, which is coming up. So Logan and Jessica walk down some stairs to a basement. They're still kind of talking about what's going on. And Francis is catching it. And we get to this weird door where the resistance is. And they tell Logan to put his hands over his head. Jeff, to this point, in this scene, if you're
Wait,
watching.
did we get to the flooding scene yet? Or
Flooding
did that
scene's
jump-
next.
No,
Flooding scene's
that's
coming
before.
up.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Logan does tap like his cell phone or whatever device, which is letting the other Sandmen know where he is. So he thinks he has made it to Sanctuary at this point. So he was still an undercover cop, at least up to this point. So he comes in,
yeah.
a bunch of people with spears that shoot gas,
Mist.
steam, something are
We've
there.
got
Yeah, steam
Spears
spears.
of Avalon here.
Yeah.
They have crystal spears, and which boy, what a magical name Crystal Spears is. What a 90s character actor name. Crystal Spears. They have these crystal spears, and they bring Farrah Fawcett on, who is hysterical at this point in time.
It's almost like she just saw a double homicide in front of her, losing her boss.
She's like so fogged out. They're like, nah. And Jessica and Logan are like, tell them I'm a runner. I'm trying to get away. He's like, well, I think I remember that. So, you don't remember when he came in for a new face
Yeah.
and the doctor tried carving him up in a laser bed? God, this movie.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a hilarious scene because
that did happen. Oh, yeah, the face. You were there when he died.
And then, we get a blitz of Sandmen, and Farrah Fawcett gets exploded.
Mhm.
They
make
show
sure
a
we
scene-
know they are like, she is dead. If you thought she was alive, she is.
They have a scene where sparks explode out of her chest, and she gets tugged. And then later you see her laying down covered in blood, and you're like, yeah, they definitely wanted us to know that she's dead as fuck.
But again,
Charlie in heaven got a new angel.
Yeah. All right. So, but to the point that the resistance does believe Farrah Fawcett, who as Logan did a perfect impression. I was like, that story sold you? Like, it's the worst witness tampering I've ever seen. Because he's a murderer. And they're like, tell him we're not
it sounds like when you watch a bad true crime doc and they show footage of an interrogation and the cops are clearly like leading on somebody who's mentally disturbed or challenged to admit to a crime they didn't do. It's this would be thrown out of court. What the fuck? Why would any of you believe this shit? Just shoot them now.
You're going to say that so you can see the Royal Rumble soon.
My God, that was brutal.
But the resistance does tell Logan, they're like, go down this door. This is how you get out. So he has been given directions. The Sandman burst in. Logan's like, shit. Because at least on the director's commentary, they explain at this point, it makes sense. Logan's alerting them. He thinks, I'm going to get into Sanctuary. Everybody's going to show up. I'm going to say I was undercover. I found Sanctuary. Take me back. There's no Sanctuary. Fuck, I got to keep going. So at this point, him and Jessica keep running, and they run into a door. I can see your point, Jeff, on not knowing if it's an AI computer or person, because they run into a door with a different voice that's like, runners, show your key, I'll unlock the door, keep going. So
and next we're going to get them, Michael York's, hurry up, we have to go get injured doing a stunt real quick. Because
this is go ahead.
The next scene, because, I mean, they're being chased, right? And Francis is a beast. This guy he's the T-1000.
Yeah.
Like, he will not give up. Like, he is crawling after. So he fucking shoots the window, and it's a practical effect, obviously.
Well, you're breaking. Sorry, Jeff, you are breaking. You're jumping forward in time. That is coming. So what happens
I'm trying desperately to jump forward.
All right. Anyway, there's a door, gets in the way. They let Francis through. So to Jeff's point, now they're running through. They're in this aquarium area.
So before then, this is my part of sloppy screenwriting that I fucking hate with this goddamn door, and it's always bothered me. They try to open the door with the ankh that's around Jessica's necklace, and he just drops it into the water. And then he's, oh wait, I have that ankh from earlier. So he uses his ankh to open the door. The reason they drop that in the water is so that Francis has a way to follow him through the door. The easiest piece of storytelling would have been to have Logan lose his ankh when he was fighting the dude at the plastic surgery place, and for Francis to just pick that fucking thing up, instead of having Logan with fumble fingers dropping Jessica's. There's just a bunch of little shit in this movie that annoys me, where it's just like,
Logan, we needed 3 minutes of slow motion orgy. Did we really have time to briefly have Francis pick up a key the scene before? Come on.
Here's the thing, though. Would he have known what the ankh was for if he didn't find it right at the door?
It was still evidence, though. Why would he know that the ankh is to open it there anyway?
It's a secret mission. Remember, he's on a secret mission. Nobody knows about the ankh being evidence except Logan.
So then why would Francis know that opens the door to begin with?
Because the door keeps saying it. Show your key, show your key. It is saying that.
Yeah. Like, it does make sense. It's, to be fair, it is stupid, Logan. I'm with you on that. But it actually does make more sense, because if he finds it in Surgery Town, USA, he's just going to be like, oh, I found this fucking charm. But when he finds the thing that they're desperately looking for in the river, and then they give up and go through, he might be like, all right, I figured it out. Like, it's like an RPG. You find it and you're like, all right, well.
Yep. So they wind up and sorry, Jeff, we will wind up stalled here for a bit, but we have to, because this is the last major interesting part where we box on Hoth. But they enter but
I want to talk about the water tank explode.
Yeah, that's happening. They're in a fishery. They're walking through. We'll do that, and then we'll get to the next scene. So an empty fishery. So they're walking through an empty aquarium, and then Francis shoots.
What's going on here?
They're like, what's going on? They're talking about it, and then Francis blasts open a water thing, and they just get flooded.
These fuckers go flying. The stunt people, if they had stunt,
it was them legit, because they didn't want it.
They are abused by this water in a way where I'm watching and I'm like, it's a pretty beefy rush of water we got here.
That was York and Agatha. That was both of them, because they didn't want that to look fake. They left the strings on the carousel. But so they get blown away by some water because Francis actually knows how to shoot. It doesn't make a lot of sense too, because this gun blasts this water because he shoots them. He yells Logan loudly. Logan turns around. He blasts the water. They get thrown along. They're all wet. That's going to be semi-important in the next scene, and wind up in a freezer.
How else are we going to see some titties if they don't get wet and they end up in the Wampa cave?
Yeah, they're in the
No, dude, it makes total sense. He's like, hey, we got to get our clothes off before they freeze. I mean, it's just good writing right there.
That's 100% true. They wind up in a frozen cave. There are like, big fur coats there.
Get the world's most amount of questions in a movie filled with the world's most amount of questions.
I will say Michael York is a coward for not showing ass in that scene where they strip their clothes off.
Because when he's ripped to fuck when he changes.
Yeah.
Drop trowel, bro.
But yeah,
that big old slang and Mercutio.
Yeah, they're in a freezer. They come on to these big coats, and Jessica goes, "Let's put these coats on so we don't freeze." And Logan goes, "But let's take off our other clothes first so we don't freeze to death in those." So that kind of scene.
And then we meet.
My boy is always horny. He's always looking for a way to get his horniness out there. Like it's just
Perhaps you'd like to be my seed mother, my seed mommy, if you know what I mean. Okay. We're about to meet my favorite character because the character itself is the biggest example of you guys probably shouldn't have done this. And so we get what is essentially a robot that looks a little bit like the Shockmaster. Like he's a giant but he's a dude.
He's Destro in a pyramid base.
He looks like if the Shockmaster fucked a Dalek from Doctor Who.
Yeah, he looks like a character from Doctor Who porn.
Yeah.
And he's wearing like gold tubes as sleeves. He's basically a humanoid robot that is like basically was designed to farm food for this group.
He's a cyborg from before Star Wars where they're like, oh, that's how you make them not look stupid.
Exactly.
Okay.
Pre-Star Wars sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
So now, but here's what creates such a question is the runners, because he's, I was getting you all this food, protein, plankton, gifts from the sea to feed. But we ran out of that. We ran out of that shit a while ago.
Okay, so this is awesome, Jeff. There are two divergent stories. There's the one I had in my head, which I think is wrong, and there's another one that kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. The one I had is, I think, what you're saying. We might have a Soylent Green scenario. These people in
That's what I'm thinking, too.
These people are in a dome, right? Self-contained society. It was going to be completely powered by the sea. Later, we find out it's powered by hydroelectricity. It's like they use the waves to power the city. And then this guy is, hey, I farm the sea for food. And so that's how it's self-contained. And then so my belief was the computers, we're losing part of our population to sanctuary. Our food supply is running out. We need to find sanctuary to see if there's food there. And then we also need those people to come back because otherwise the population is just going to dwindle and die. That was my headcanon, which kind of made sense. And this guy is saying that because spoiler alert, he's freezing the runners. Yeah. But
also at the same, is he feeding people the runner? Because that food would run out.
But no, that's the flip side. The other idea is there was a society before the Logan Dome that used this guy to harvest for them. They got killed out in the war or whatever, but this is a Wall-E-like robot that sticks around. Nuclear war destroyed the fish, destroyed the society. He's just kept existing, looking to farm stuff. There are no fish to farm, so when the runners from this new society came, he's farming them. So you've basically got two AI computers that are essentially fighting with each other because they're not aware of each other.
Weird that it's unclear, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Totally not like the writers of this movie to make it very unclear, and the editors, to be fair.
I think, it could be just, this is what we used to do for food, and then we moved on, and we just don't care because it's a robot, and it's just still doing its programming. Or it could be the nefarious thing. Like, there's no concrete answer, and you don't get that answer later on.
Are you trying to tell me that not one person could beat this thing's ass?
That was my comment.
So slow. And
Bo Jackson, Derrick Henry.
It's also like one of those things where it's like he gets taken out so easily.
Yeah.
I'm just like, just push this fucking refrigerator with a head over.
To real Logan's point, not fake Logan's point about lore and respecting it. So I had to do this. The original plot, this robot tricks them. He says, if you see, he's got like all those birds and things, and he says, I'm a sculptor. Originally, he tricks them and says, I want to sculpt you. So can you pose for me and I'm going to sculpt you? And then when they pose, he freezes them. So originally, he's a tricky robot. They cut that out and said he just attacks them, and then it's the most ridiculous scene ever.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank God we didn't have that extra 40 seconds in this scene, in this 2-hour movie, but we're going to get the dumbest goddamn denouement.
And that's
ever.
why, that's why I think that this is just a piece of technology that they just don't give a shit about. And it's just up to its own weird device.
I do like that he goes,
yeah, my bad. It's on.
my bird, ah!
I would want to point out, though, like, Logan is the first. We're talking about, like, how did these dumbass runners get frozen? He's the only one with a gun. Everybody else is just some
crystal rods and fucking teenage knives. You do something. Put up a fight. Cut his arm. Honestly, I could fuck this guy up.
Someone should just be like, hey, no, you don't got to do this. We got an orgy club.
Yeah.
They would love your ass, robot guy. The robot guy's just going.
Glow sticks on.
Yeah.
Now, they get outside, and what I do love about this, they see the sun at first. It's, oh, this is wonderful. And after 2 minutes, Jessica runs into a lizard and is like, I fucking hate outside. But they're all happy.
Yeah, basically Earth is so like they're in Washington, D.C. So
we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that sec. They get outside.
Yeah, we're figuring that out. But yeah, they get outside.
They get outside. They hate it. They find some water. They love it. Logan and Jessica are kind of arguing where Logan has realized, hey, sanctuary is not real. But Jessica's, it's got to be real. Let's keep going. And Logan's, oh, okay, we'll keep going.
Kind of feels like we're at the end of the story here.
Like, we should be done, don't you think? Yeah. We wouldn't go on.
What are we going to do? Walk into
minutes.
Congress?
Yeah.
Which
we're going to just walk in for 30 minutes and then have a connection to the musical Cats that I was not anticipating when I was younger.
Logan. This movie predates Cats.
Yeah, I know. That's why I think
this movie could have been the inspiration for Cats. Andrew Lloyd Webber could have seen this movie and written Cats. That is entirely possible.
What's that other shitty musical he did where it's like the trains on roller skates
Trains.
No, it's like Starlight Express or some shit like that.
Andrew Lloyd Webber just watched Logan's Run High, and that's how I made all his
That's
musicals.
why I'm saying, like, maybe that
Starlight
robot in the fucking roller skate.
Richard Stilgoe is a musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Richard Stilgoe, yeah.
Okay, so maybe the robot in this inspired him to do whatever that, what is that?
I love
Andrew Lloyd Webber, I fucking love Logan's Run.
I think it's canon. Anyway, we do see him, as Jeff mentions, they're in Washington, D.C. They're walking around. They see the Lincoln Memorial. They're like, oh, these people used to be old. It is supposed to be like a Planet of the Apes thing. Damn you all, they're dead kind of thing. I did note that Tim Burton and Kevin Smith got in like a weird tiff once over a rewrite of Planet of the Apes. And I'm like, started Logan's Run, did it first before both of you. Anyway.
Kinda.
Yeah, kind of. Anyway, that
whole thing was there was an ape.
Yeah.
That was chimpanzee Abe Lincoln, yeah.
Yeah, Abe Lincoln. Old. Anyway, that's what they do say. Then they meet an old Peter Ustinov in just one of the houses there, surrounded by cats.
And he is having a blast being insane.
Yeah.
He's just like trying to recall. He's a man who has gone crazy because all he has is cats, and he's living in Congress.
His brain is littered with toxoplasmosis.
Yeah.
There is so much cat shit around there that has infested his thought process, right?
He's got so many toxic worms in there, yeah.
Yeah.
It is funny because, like, they meet him and they're, like, shocked. They're like, do those lines in your face hurt? And he should be like, yeah, everything hurts. I'm 70. Everything hurts. But he's like, no. I'd be like, yeah, my back hurts. My knees hurt. God forbid I get sick. I'm going to die. These cats are going to eat my face someday. I gotta be honest, I don't know how they're eating. I don't know how I'm eating.
Yeah. They show him cracking some nuts. That's his diet.
Hammering nuts with hammering some walnuts. So that's a brain food. That'll keep him going. But we can yada this part because he does about 20 minutes on cats.
Where he keeps quoting T.S. Eliot poems. Yeah, he tells him about the past.
So like that bit where he's doing the T.S. Eliot thing, I think is a good addition of reminding that like when young people focus and strive for youth and beauty, they neglect intellect and study. And this man has had enough time to know and read, and having been educated, self-educated in this information. And I do think it's stupid, but in a stupid movie that's important. to like
It would have been
prize.
funny if he showed them a musical based off of his cats, and it was just using the T.S. Eliot stuff.
Sit back, my dear. I'm going to do some kind of
Now, so yeah, we have this weird break in the middle of the movie for this, as we mentioned, Jeff. And you know what? That seems like a really logical place for a
Good
weird break. So yeah, if you didn't know, if you head over to patreon.com/Jeff May, you can produce shows just like this one. You can have Jeff break cards in the mail and send them to you. You can have Jeff threaten his friends Logan to be on horrible podcasts. All of these things are possible. Again, patreon.com/Jeff May. And one of the things you can sign up for is to produce this very show here and have your name read however you want it. And in fact, we're going to have that happen right here, Jeff.
I'm sorry, what?
You're going to start reading names.
Oh, wait, we do that on this show?
I think so. Maybe. I don't remember, Jeff.
A huge shout out to the following producers and thank you. And head over to patreon.com/Jeff May, where you can produce the show, as well as Jeff has cool friends and more. Hey, a big shout out to the Enchanted, Wandering, Unpierced, Left Nipple Cider, served at room temperature. A big thank you to Idi Amin's One Man Accordion Band's greatest hits, captive audiences, the B-sides. Time to play B-sides. Hey, those paleontologists are up to skullduggery. Shout out to you. Shout out to Burrito, my best friend. Shout out to Ricky Cilantro. And of course, shout out to Jeff and Dre's number one, Mysano.
Mysano. This is a reference to Speedy Gonzalez episode.
Mysano.
Jeff introduced this into the lexicon. Not a paisano, Mysano.
And of course, a big thank you to Norm from Tears. Dre, who you got?
We got a big shout out to Logan and Francis out fighting crime. And thanks to Logan, fucking. God, I'm going to start calling Yoda Old Grogu just to see what happens. I'm going to read that again. I'm going to start calling Yoda Old Grogu just to see what happens. We don't laugh over your producer name here on Nerd.
He's
That's
a
not what we do.
Wisconsin guy. You guys were neighbors.
We were. We still are for a little bit. For those wondering, as of recording, I am in Wisconsin. As of release, I will be in Colorado.
Shout out. You have to move because he called him Grogu.
Yeah, that's what happens. They kick you out of Wisconsin for that.
Okay.
Shout out to Bobby Opulent. Shout out to Dan Hackroyd. Shout out to MikeSlater.com says, hey, Dre. Hey, that's me. Go ahead and announce the podcast. It's live. So yeah, I'll shout that out. Mike Slater and myself, spinning off from this show, have you got to check this out. A podcast that if you go over to patreon.com/Jeff May, you get advance access to, and our first season's spoiler, is on Logan's Run. And sorry, Logan, we're going to have to look for an episode with someone named Logan in it. But you 100% are going to have to be on it as
Logan's
a guest.
Run and not Babylon 5?
Did I say on Logan's Run? Good God,
yeah, you did.
You're going to do the series, Logan's Run?
We're going to do the first series of You've Got to Check This Out is on the Logan Run television show. That does exist. You do not need
season of Logan.
Do not need to check that out. Do not check that out. Okay. Our first season, spoilers, seasons are on the hit television show Babylon 5. And Logan does actually have a backstory with that. So Logan, hopefully someday we can get you on as a guest to that episode. If there's ever a character named Logan that appears, we will call you because that's the rule. Logan is bound by a curse. That is why Jeff
Did you
and
ever
Tom,
find out what that actress was?
I am looking and I have not seen one that does that. So
What
Logan
actress?
is spoiling a little of the backstory. Logan was offered an autograph by an actress on Babylon 5 who was not high name enough to be recognizable, but was high name enough to use that as a CV at a convention. And I have no idea who the hell that can be, but
It was
someday, Logan,
extremely rude. I
will
was
find
sitting
her.
there waiting for my mom to pick me up, and she says, "Hi, I'm from Babylon 5. Here's my exclusive autograph card," and tries to throw it in my hand. And I have no idea who this person is. She's, "Watch my car," and then just walks away. And then my mom comes and picks me up, and I'm like, I'm not watching this fucking lady's car. And the last thing I saw was the CPD, like, going to put a ticket or tow her car away while I was leaving the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center. And to this day, I don't know who that woman was because I've never seen fucking
I
Babylon.
want that card so bad. And it's hard just for the reference. Just
Here's
as a
the thing,
reference.
if she had just come up to me and, "Hey, I need to go get my stuff. Could you watch my car?" I would have absolutely done that. But the fact that she threw the card in there, like, just, "Hey, you fucking nerd, you want to do this?" Absolutely.
And
not.
I wish Logan had kept that. That would be amazing.
I remember I was at a Wizard World Chicago 2004, and I ran into Kevin Smith outside, and it was right during the height of Jay and Silent Bob cosplay, which made conventions smell way worse than they already smelled.
It was like they're all dressed in the big coats and stuff, yeah.
we're just hanging out, and it was outside. We were all outside, and I just looked at him and I was just like, do you ever take the blame for how bad it smells in there because of all the people that are wearing overcoats in August? And he just goes, yeah, man, I'm sorry about that.
Ah,
It was pretty great. I was like, it's your fault that there's guys that smell real bad wearing heavy jackets in August.
We both have some weird stories about Wizard World Chicago over the years. So,
and I've got fun Kevin Smith ones, but that's not this podcast. That'll be future ones. And very last, we have Ravages of the Scourge, or at Ravages of the Scourge, for your fantasy-themed death metal deathcore needs. Scourge is spelled SCOURGE if I butchered the pronunciation. All right, again, patreon.com/Jeff May if you want to be a producer of Logan's Run, the podcast. We'll do it. We probably won't do it. Anyway. All right.
God.
So now we're back to, the good stuff.
I don't fucking know where we're back to.
The movie. Francis reenters and is 100, literally, Francis busts in. Well, this old guy is like showing old pictures and talking about how things used to be and talking about fucking cats. Francis shows up, grabs Jessica.
I will not be ignored, Dan. Logan.
He does. Yeah, it's 100%. And he says something.
Yeah.
He says something to Jessica. You've ruined him. What did you do to him?
I will add that this guy is an expert tracker because these fuckers jumped off a cliff into water and then kept moving. Bloodhounds wouldn't be able to follow that trail.
He is following his heart, Jeff.
It's also like Wolverine following Jean Grey to the Morlocks, Jeff, as a callback. That is how much Francis loves Logan.
Yeah, I'm going to add something here is that during this confrontation, Francis makes a leap that is roughly 20 to 25 feet off the ground down.
It is insane.
You got to jump off the top rope, Jeff. You got to do.
Mick Foley wouldn't have taken.
He landed on his legs, though. The thing about when you jump that is you have to spread your body out so it absorbs and spreads out the impact. This motherfucker lands on one leg. That shit snapped in half. That is a one-take stunt because that shit is fucking brutal looking.
If you had watched that in any TLC match or any steel cage match, you would have been like, oh my God.
Matt Hardy fucked up.
Yeah. Oh God. I think Jeff Hardy may actually be dead.
It's
the
real
fall
bad.
where Mick Foley hit the ground so hard that his tooth went into his nose.
Yeah. This is one of those scenarios too where I'm watching this, and one of the things you notice about all the stunts is that they really seem like they're just winging it because they get into this fight and there's just a cat sitting on one of the desks in Congress and they go over it and just fall on the cat and the cat can't get away fast enough. They probably killed that cat. Great that it's dead anyway, no matter, because it's over 30. But I watched that and I'm just like, they didn't plan shit for this.
They claim it was choreographed, but to your point, there is a difference between choreographing a fight and then doing it in a location with live animals that are just standing around. I do love this. This fight has some fun stuff where I do like it when it's not a professional one, like the Bruce Lees, fighting who know what they're doing. Because at one point, Francis just picks up a book and chucks it at him. And so you have two guys.
So much book throwing on here. It is hilarious. They throw at least an entire encyclopedia set of volumes of books. They're just Hadoukening each other with books. They're
fighting in an old Congress room, throwing books. Yeah. My nerdy, pedantic thing that I did put in our notes is if you read books like The World Without Us, really fun read, things like paper, things like wood, irrespective of nuclear war, if you leave those untreated, just go away. That's why you have to stain your deck. You have to do it repeatedly. That's why if you go to the Louvre, whatever. Sorry, French people. I apologize. Thank you, Jeff.
Louvre.
Jeff speaks French. We know that. If you go to those places, right, they rotate the pictures. They have to keep them in dark areas. They have people touch them up. None of this stuff, irrespective of what would happen, would have still been there just being left to the elements for 200 years. So that was my nerd. When I'm watching this movie, I was just like, this is all gone. It's all a bit of a decomposed.
Well, you don't really know about the preservative powers of cat shit, though.
That is true. Cat
shit and piss, that could have just kept it going for.
But I do love it because they get into this thing where they're like, your parents fucked, and he's absolutely to make you. He's probably. And then
I
they
like that he
explained,
is
like,
so.
at one point they had hit a graveyard and they saw like beloved wife, beloved mother, and they were like, what does these things mean? And he's, you guys are fucking idiots.
Mhm.
He's like, you guys are just the dumbest. You're dumb as a bag of hammers in here, but you are beautiful for the time.
I like that he's so old that he sees Jessica, who looks like Jessica, and he is not even, doesn't even, oh, wow, you're attractive or that. He's like beyond, no parts down there work. for
Sorry
this
to
guy.
jump
He is
to the
that
future.
old.
He's going to get fucked to death at the end of this movie, right?
Oh, that's absolutely true. He's going to be, I don't think he'll enjoy it, but he will absolutely be.
He's not
fucked
going to have
to
a,
death.
yeah, it's just
Oh,
the
there's
orgy
gonna be
crowd's
that,
going to
like-
descend on him and he's going to die. And that's what's
It's
going to be on
because
his
he's
tombstone.
new.
No, there's always a weirdo that's, I want to fuck the old guy.
It's not
There's always
that. It's
somebody
he's
who's like,
new. But by
Yeah.
being new, he's the most attractive thing they have ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only major things that I want to end up with, they get in this hilarious fight. It is worth watching just for that. Francis and Logan ends the fight by just bludgeoning Francis to death with the U.S. flagpole. It's hilarious. And
then there's
yeah.
this big, the symbolic thing as he looks at his hand and sees that the light has gone clear and he's, you did get recycled.
a renewed. He says you got, and it's funny
Renewed.
because earlier Logan showed it to him and he didn't want to see it. But at the end, when he's dying, that's fun or sadness of the Francis character is he holds on to his ideology throughout. And they do mention that. So
He's also dies happy that his lover got renewed. That's what he's so happy about. He's, oh, you did get renewed. I can die.
yeah,
Yeah.
Francis is,
Francis is ride or die, and he literally dies.
absolutely.
He's a rough rider.
And the only other thing that comes out of that is they bury Francis, and we find out the old man does ask Jessica to make sure she buries him. Then they're like, we got to go. We're going to go back because they got nothing, right? Sanctuary's not real.
How long after they leave do the cats take to dig Francis out and eat him?
2 minutes.
I'm going to say probably hour and a half.
Yeah, hour and a half tops before his eyes are inside a cat belly, right?
They're like, I'm sick of eating fucking cicadas and grasshoppers and shit. Let's go.
I love it. Yeah, the good part is the movie ends pretty quickly from here on out, despite
Thank
taking
Christ.
30 minutes.
It's a 2-hour movie in 1976, by the way.
And they're like, let's walk back. And then they're just like, let's listen to the old guy talk as we're walking back. True story. There is some amazing, like, chewing the scenery and fun stuff. They get back and they're like, how do we get back in? They dive through the hydroelectric water entrance.
They get chewed up by turbines.
Assumably just
dive
knowing
in-
how to do it. Like,
They dive into a hydroelectric plant that he didn't know existed ever. And he's just, oh, this has to be the way inside. Okay. And then they dive in and just follow a route that they have no idea leads to what. And just magically don't drown.
and there's like sonic music playing, like the tense
Yeah.
music. Are they going to drown? And they leave the old guy. They're like, we'll be back. There's an instance where this old guy just dies out there waiting for them to return because bring him back with it. Like, come with us. Then they have a Soylent Green moment where they're all going to everybody's going to Carousel, but Logan rushes in and is, everybody, you don't have to die. Here's my hand. You can live. You can live. It's gloriously bad dialogue.
Before
I loved
he
it.
does that, like while they're on their way there, he's, no, of course they'll listen. We have all the evidence. I'll get them to listen. And it's, oh, he must have a plan. And he just runs out like the most coke-addled guy, just screaming, I don't have to die if they're me. Listen to me. And it's, everyone ignores him rightfully because he seems like he's insane.
Yeah, then he gets captured, and the computer or something, right? We don't know. Like your point, Jeff, is interrogating him, and this is a wild scene because there is a hologram of Michael York's head rotating, and it's in a glass dome. They said that was their regret about it, is they wish they would have just had it out like in Star Wars, where it's the hologram is out. So this is them using hologram technology in front of Star Wars, but doing it worse. So you just see like Michael York's head in a fishbowl, wavy like, twirling around saying there is no sanctuary, really slow. And the computer or something is interrogating him saying, where is sanctuary? And he keeps saying, there is no sanctuary, there is no sanctuary. And the computer just freaks out and blows up. And like I said, my headcanon is this, if it is an AI, the computer is like, has been given the inputs to keep an equilibrium of population. And it's basically been told, there is no sanctuary. The population is dwindling. The
Only
food
zoo.
supply is dwindling. We're fucked. And just initiate self-destruct mode. It could be a person on the other end of the line, Jeff, that's fuck it, I'm out, hits the self. But for some reason, Logan telling him this makes it self-destruct. The, Krypton just starts falling apart. And all of these people come outside where the old guy is just waiting for him. Yep.
Logan debated it today.
Bye. And that's it. They just go.
Well, a bunch of women look at the old guy and are like, "Hey,
They start
what's up?"
fondling him.
They're like, I'm going to fondle the shit out of you, bro.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. Then they freeze frame on Logan and Jessica. Then they do a weird little montage clip through parts of the old scenery, and then that's the movie. That's
Every single one of these people is going to be bit by a snake within 3 days, and they're all going to die in the wild. Those
Hell
cats
yeah.
are going to live like kings.
That's it. I've been wanting to feed these cats meat for quite some time. This will be a nice way to do it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He's the real villain.
Yeah.
You just
All
see
the
him put
cats
his
come out like when you hit a can opener.
Yes, his lady voice modulator gets put back into his robe,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jeff, see again, a script doctor, Jeff doing this. Yeah, if the old guy was controlling Logan to get him to bring fresh meat or something, yeah, I like it. I love this. So Jeff, well, you're welcome.
Oh.
This should have ended like Caddyshack. The old guy should have just
Kenny
said,
Loggins
"Hey,
song?
everybody, we're all going to get laid," and then just start
Hey.
playing Journey.
It should have just been Rodney Dangerfield as the old man.
Yes.
Oh, these cats, I tell you. Here's the thing. We missed a lot of stuff because a lot of stuff is non sequitur and a lot of stuff is weird and unimportant and stupid. He talks about cats for an extended period of time.
He quotes 3 or 4 T.S. Eliot cat poems.
He fucking loves it, man. This movie happened. First off, I would have given that robot a DDT and taken it right out. That thing was probably the worst battle bot I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The Sandman stuff is weird. Michael York, it's never clear when he officially changes his plans to be actually a part of the Resistance. You can never, and maybe it's when they all come in, but
I don't think he does. I think the reality is he's just pushed along and hits the point where there's no choice, right? Like when he gets
I could die or I could have sex with Jessica. I think I'll pick the sex with Jessica option.
Oh, and they decide to go to a more traditional form of marriage because the freewheeling times of the 60s are over, pal. Free love is done.
Well, there is
Let's
a
go
funny
fuck
part
that
where they're
rock.
kind of talking and we could get married. And he was like, oh, yeah, sure.
No, he wants that hard, remember?
It's interesting. I could have read it both ways. Like it sounds like it was like, sure, whatever you say.
They also fuck in the lagoon, or they like bring it up. She's, I want to fuck you now. And
They have.
I'm just like, you guys are going to get something.
Yeah, you guys are dying of UTIs.
No antibiotics in the old Senate building, old Capitol building.
It's just
Anyway,
like they are all going to die within 5 days.
This movie is, I don't like it. I respect what it was doing. I respect that it exists in a time. Reviews on this are mixed, including 2 vastly different reviews from Siskel and Ebert.
Was this
Where
before it was
Ebert-
on the air? This would have been before we could have seen them.
Well,
do
they
all
had
the-
done several shows, but I think their first version of, what was it called? Sneak Preview? Was that the first one they did? Before?
At the movies.
No, At the Movies is not.
Oh, wait, no, not at the movies.
I think it was Sneak Preview or something like that. Was somewhere around that time, but Roger Ebert gave it like, what, 3 out of 4 stars?
I think it was 2 out of 4. He was like, it's good. But, for Ebert, that's like good. He's like, it's a good, fun movie.
So this is the definition of what, this is like the purest form of Ebert versus Siskel in terms of reviewing.
Well, because Gene Siskel's a lot like me. None of this makes fucking sense, though. Like,
Exactly.
it's discordant. It's broken. The story is all over the place. The pacing is bad. The logic is broken. The character drives. Yeah.
He calls it ridiculous.
Are
and-
driven by ridiculous thing. Like, it's silly. And the points that are being made, which we've discussed, right? Like, we've talked about it. They're drowned out by bad storytelling, mediocre effects for the way we view it, but obviously they spent a lot of, they invested money into this thing, and it's not great. But I do love that studios used to take these risks.
I fall on the Ebert side of this review where I like Ebert's method of judging a thing for what it's trying to be rather than just the general thing. And I think this is exactly what, maybe story-wise it didn't come all together, but this is what they were trying to do. And they nailed it for the aesthetics of the time period. And it's weird, it's badly paced, and there are things that I just annoy me from like a story writing perspective, but it's like not one of those movies where it's like I wish I had never watched this, you know?
Well, also the biggest thing to me is just how many people saw this and literally did the little alien joke you did, Jeff, which is just, oh, what if we took this and did this and this with this, right? Many people literally picked this movie's bones for better things. So this movie's
bones are based in old stories.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, this gets into the whole process.
The race against mortality and the broken structure of religion and capitalism. Not like Logan's Run didn't invent any of this
yes,
shit.
But this is the whole purpose of like iterative storytelling. And that's the point. And so if you want to get into the semantics of did it invent it or not, but I'm saying this movie added a lot of things that other people liked and have used. And this movie has a lot of parts that are enjoyable, but I think we all agree, right? As a whole, it doesn't flow. And my notes on multiple times, I'm like, how are we still going? What the hell? Yeah. I think all of us did that, right?
It's a very long, now I will say this movie's not as bad as Double Dragon.
Oh, that's a high bar.
Which is
not
nice.
As bad as Double Dragon.
It could have been 20 minutes shorter, and like they could have cut the scene in the fuck palace and nothing would have changed. Right? Because we've already established the sexual freedom in there by the fucking Tinder ass thing. So we already get it. It's loose sex town.
Yeah, you could have just had the secret exit to literally be in the surgeon's area, and like Jessica, when she sees he was going to betray him, like grabs a key or something and opens it, and they just run there.
Yeah. But what I will say from a anthropological standpoint is that this is the perfect snapshot of the last big science fiction movie before Star Wars is going to change 90% of science fiction.
Yeah.
That to me is the only thing that I really like about this movie is how interesting the production aspect of it is and how it was very well received while being not a particularly good movie. But it was like, yeah, this was at the time when people, like it made $25 million because there was only 3 networks and people went to the movies.
I do enjoy the movie up until the point with the Ankh key door thing. Like I actually do some of the mystery of the undercover stuff.
That's what took you out?
No, I mean, it's not that specifically, but that's the point where I'm like, okay, now it's just starting to, because that's where we get the outside world stuff and that shit is dragging and slow. I actually do enjoy some of the chase stuff. I do enjoy some of the campiness of it. I do enjoy the not subtext, the gay forward text, I guess.
Sex is loose and free in the Sarah.
Yeah, I enjoy the way that it's projected. I like it as a time capsule piece for kind of seeing a specific type of story. And again, like I can absolutely see why so many filmmakers have tried to remake this for the past like 25 years.
It's visually interesting, and it is terribly like the Cubs stuff is dumb. If George Miller directed it, I'd probably be talking a lot of different things about it because he knows how to create context clues without being overt
because he
about
did
it.
And it was called Fury Road, and it was amazing, and we all loved it.
Yeah. And trusting context clues, right? But they don't trust. They trust a little bit. Like they start the movie with the explanation of here's a quick synopsis, and then they get in and they're like, we're establishing these things through normal conversation without over explaining, and then that falls apart. And there's either no explaining or too much explaining, and that to me is a little bit broken. But visually interesting, you know.
To hammer the thing we say on this show all the time about nostalgia and misremembering. Like, I remember Tron, right? There's a random scene in Tron where they stop and drink water. There's a random scene in this movie where they're just like, hey, water, let's swim. And when you see people like remember old things, like it's amazing, you can forget that movies would not do the second pass on script doctoring, and that people have gotten better, and that the people that watch these as kids went, what if we did this and this? There are things that have gotten worse because, if we budget cut and refuse to give like new ideas money, but there are things that have gotten a lot better. So I think Logan's run, to exactly what you said, Jeff, is this was right in front of Star Wars, and it's really useful to show this was a successful movie right in front of Star Wars. This is what that looked like. And for all the people like, things used to be better. It's, look at the things that this movie was willing to let go that we have improved since.
Yeah, it's also one of the last mainstream movies that's really sexually free before the AIDS crisis.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Because like we're only 5 years away from, what starts as what grids and then AIDS and where it is in there. So you do see that snapshot of what sexual freedom was like and how people were viewing that sexual freedom at that time, and then what is about to come, where sex oftentimes, even when you look at like Alien, Ridley Scott's Alien is a very sort of like anti-sexual, it flips the script on sexual violence, right? Like, go ahead, Logan.
There's also weird politics of this movie because there's almost like pro-conservative messaging throughout a lot of this. Yeah. Because like it's that weird era where everyone was concerned about overpopulation, which has always been a bullshit thing. That's just not a problem. There's several problems that we have as a society. Overpopulation is not going to be like the resources and things. There's different ways to solve that. But throughout the movie, we talk about like the gay subpoint with like him and his partner and stuff like that, but the solution of that is the partner dying and him accepting a heteronormative relationship where they call each other husband and wife, and then
that's a big
preach that to everybody else as the right way to live as they leave their society. So it's just this weird hodgepodge of, okay, yeah, this is kind of sexually, but you guys seem to be criticizing it from that point. Also, there's this weird conservative angle, but at the same time, you kind of are talking about how this was all led by like war and all this other shit, which is anti-conservative. So it's very muddled in a lot of weird ways.
I would agree.
It is confusing. It is conservative by the definition of the word beyond Republican. It is, hey, if you only focus on being young and sexy and you're not focusing on books, so it does sort of cast off youth as being an anti-intellectualism thing. It's like a whole thing. But I will say this, I think it's a beautifully designed movie. I just think it's a narrative and structural failure, personally.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah, if this had a better screenwriter or like multiple script polishes, like there might have been something there, but just as is, there's too many weird narratives and just ideas that don't flow really great. And I hear a lot of people are like, oh, it should have been more like the book. The book kind of sucks too, man. Yeah. From what I've read about the book, it's not that great either, bud.
Sometimes the book's not as good as the movie.
Yeah.
Did you ever read Fight Club? It's fine.
It's so funny how people will talk about the ending for the book of Fight Club, whereas that feels like a cop-out Hollywood movie ending, where the movie's actual ending feels more like a book ending, which is weird.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Also, Jaws has one of the worst books. Like that is
right?
Yeah. God, that book is awful. So, yeah.
So, Logan's Run, better than Double Dragon and better than the book. So say Siskel, Ebert, and the other dude.
Yeah,
and
it's
the book
better
Jaws.
than the book Jaws.
All right. Well, we've definitely exhausted stuff. We have hit 30 years of the podcast time. It's much like the movie, Jeff. This episode is normal length. It just feels.
This episode took a lot out of me. Not this recording, but like prepping for this episode was hard. Because watching this movie, I had to be like, wait, what? Like,
I can't imagine coming into this.
Like, what did I miss? And then it's, I missed nothing. They just don't explain it. Or they're like, I'm like, wait, how did we get here? And they're like, they just end them here.
They showed boobs.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
That's how they go. You're not going to care because you're going to see boobs.
Oh, I like that part.
Yeah. Coming into this raw, having never have seen it before, like, I can't imagine that. That's insane. Yeah. So, especially like in terms of prepping for this podcast, I mean.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's on Tubi if you want to see it.
It's on Tubi if you want to eat up 2.5 hours after the 9 commercials per 40 minutes of viewing. Dre,
right, well,
thanks.
Jeff, you're welcome.
Thanks for picking this, bro.
I don't regret it, but it was definitely interesting. And we even discussed on previous episodes of this where this is almost a cooking show where I forced Jeff to come up with a trilogy idea with a secret ingredient. And this is the cooking show where I just am like dog crap.
Anyway, that's our season on Speed with Sonic Spinball, Speedy Gonzalez, and Logan's Run. Dre, what's our next season going to be, buddy?
All right. Well, we have a filler that I don't want to spoil because there's going to be some scheduling. But then for our winter season, we are going to do movies Dre hasn't seen with a holiday slant. And I'm going to leave that as homework. If you go back to the episode with my brother Daniel, we actually do discuss which movies we're going to do. So homework to the audience, but that's what's coming up.
We're going to do Dutch again for Thanksgiving.
We could do, there's a lot. Dutch is like this movie, but it actually has a cohesive through line. But anyway.
So that's that.
Alien versus Predator 2 is a Christmas movie, right?
All right. The Logan Trent most places. Stuff is coming, right?
Yeah.
So we got Logan. I'm gonna jinx you ahead of time. Logan is going to win the WNBYay Fantasy League, provided Paige Bucket stays healthy.
Yeah, Norm from Cheers' team is pretty brutal though.
All right, that's what we got there. Jeff, do you want to sound us out on your side?
Hey, well, if you're listening to this, that means you've at least heard of this network. So if you're listening to this for free, thank you so much. Head on over to patreon.com/JeffMay. You can listen to this early. You can also listen to early access to uncensored episodes of bonus content of Jeff Has Cool Friends in the exclusive monthly flow with Andrea Gazzetta, which is a very fun podcast where we review our months. On top of that, check out the Jeff Has Cool Cards YouTube page every Wednesday at 4 and Friday at 4. I open cards Pacific. You can see Logan and Dre in the comments often hanging out while I open up silly Billy little cards. And on top of that, Adam and Todd Brown and I just restarted the Monday show. That's the flagship show in the You Don't Even Like This network, which Logan is also a part of. So that being said, is that it? Mint on cards, second Friday of every month. Blast and pass some beautiful Magnolia in Burbank, California.
Yeah, actually, and it will be tomorrow as of this release because this month it is special for you. Jeff said if you had to listen through Logan's Run, the podcast, in podcast form, it was comic form, it was a TV miniseries, it was a movie, now it's a podcast. If you listen to that, you can catch Jeff tomorrow at Mint on Card in Burbank. So thank you for watching this episode.
At Mint on Card, at Blast from the Past. Hey, you're all great. Thank you all for listening. It means a lot to you. Please stick around. Please have fun. Rate, review, do all the free stuff. And we love you very much. Thank you. Bye.
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 Jeff, just like the movie, did a freeze frame.
Thanks for listening to Nerd. If you want to help keep the podcast growing, it's definitely worth your while to head over to patreon.com/JeffMay. Also, you'll get early access to cool stuff. Cool stuff like videos of Jeff showing off awesome collectibles and doing pack break videos. It'd be worth your while to check out Jeff May's YouTube channels. That's right, channels. For pack breaking by Jeff and myself, head over to youtube.com/JeffHasCoolCards, where Jeff breaks packs weekly, opens stuff you send him in the mail, and sometimes even gives away cool prizes. For Jeff's podcasts, head over to youtube.com/@HeyThereJeffro. That's spelled JEFFRO. And shocker, that is also his Twitter, Instagram, and any other social media accounts as well. So follow Jeff everywhere. You can find me most places on the internet as @NerdNumbers. Also, shout out to Chris Haugen for the outro theme of Pure Magic. Thanks so much, and we'll be back with another nerdy subject soon.